Welcome back, Dungeoneers. It's Sunday afternoon, and that can only mean one thing.
One thing.
It's time to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm here at the table with...
I'm David Schultz, playing Dromar the Goblin Rogue.
I am David Wong. I am playing Nine, the Tabaxi Bard.
I'm Nicole Bates, and I play Soria, the Changeling Druid.
I'm Greg, and I'm playing Ulseth Ralph, the Furbolg Fighter.
And I'm Alexis Bates, your trusty dungeon mistress. You're watching Dice and Dungeons, and we thank you for tuning in this week. Got a couple announcements to bring you at the top of this show, and the first one comes from David Schultz.
One of our sponsors today is Calling All Knights. The wait is finally over. Calling All Knights is now live on Kickstarter until April 29th. Be one of the first to play this 2 to 5 player trick-taking card game for the whole family. Featuring over 60 unique knight characters and creatures, Calling All Knights is simple to learn and fun to master. Stay up to date on facebook.com/Cali Pigeon Games or search Calling All Knights on Kickstarter. And we will also be putting the Kickstarter link directly into the chat and into the show notes if you're watching on YouTube or listening as the podcast.
Yeah,
So
what's the funding on that now? I know they were over 50% a couple days ago.
I know they're over 6,000, so over 50%. They're doing very well. They're only like a third of the way through the Kickstarter and over 50% funded, so I think they're doing very well. I would be shocked if it does not meet its funding goal at this point.
Do they have any more slots for the make your own knight yet still?
They do still have 2 of those slots, so get on that if you are so inclined.
Although it'll be hard to top the Mime Knight that they just teased.
The Mime Knight is pretty good.
With all the emojis.
Yeah, the Mime Knight's hilarious. I like the Cheese Knight the best, and now I think I'm kind of in Mime Knight camp.
I'm still a Cheese Knight fanboy, I gotta say.
Thank you again to Cali Pigeon Games and Calling All Night for sponsoring us. We think your game is awesome looking, and we hope everyone goes and picks up a copy. I am talking about our continuing sponsor, Geekified. Geekified is a tabletop gaming store out of Vinton, Iowa, that takes your online orders for all your tabletop role-playing game needs. So if you're thinking about picking up a new adventure path, rulebook, maybe some new miniatures, I think there's actually some new miniatures coming out next month. Head over to geekified.us/discount/dice and dungeons. Links to that will be in the YouTube and podcast show notes, as well as spammed throughout the episode in the Twitch chat. Using that link will get you 5% off of your first purchase, and buying things through that link helps support the show. So it's a great way to get yourself something new and shiny, maybe give a gift to a friend, and help us out at the same time. So thank you very much to anyone who buys through that, and all our viewers, and thank you very, very much to Geekified for all the support.
Thank you.
Thank you, sponsors.
I think that brings us to the end of the sponsors, so we can get on with the show. And with that, Dungeoneers, let's roll. All right, everyone. You guys are all idiots. On last week's episode of Dice and Dungeons, the group followed up on their remaining leads from the city of Nordfeld as to who might have stolen the fervent tech from the Tibok family estate. They found out that other families in the area had also had important fervent tech artifacts stolen from them as well, not just the Tiboks. Indeed, they found out after chasing down a would-be thief from the Museum of Fervent Technology that there is an entire bounty system for fervent tech being offered by a mysterious and enigmatic figure in the city of Nordfeld. The one
Thieves Guild.
our party believes to be their old foe, Coromonth. After learning about a Dropbox for these fervent tech items wanted in the bounty, the group went to scope out the warehouse at the epicenter of all this activity, where they seemed to have found a large man that had been eluding them, Crom, a hulking gray-haired furbolg. However, this positive ID nearly cost the group, as the gang inside burst out when our friend Ulseth decided to stage a little accident. Deciding that discretion is the better part of valor, both groups decided that they would leave without a fight, and our party followed up on a lead about the mysterious Thieves Guild with an old reporter, Maxwell Eisen. An old drunk of a drow, Maxwell, under incredibly mild pressure, eventually admitted to having made up the entirety of the Thieves Guild, and then it getting out of hand over a series of years and dozens, if not hundreds, of articles.
I knew it all along.
But the popularity made him very wealthy, and that he also likely had tax problems stemming from that. Before they left his estate, they learned from him that Coromonth had indeed paid him for some ideas on thieving, and some other tricks of the trade, if you will. Departing the Eisenhowes, their old friend, Franklin Shortbeard III, ran up to them and told them that their contact Ludorf had some news in the warehouse and wanted them to come quickly. And that is where we rejoin our group this week.
We must move quickly.
All right. I always move quickly.
That was a bit, direct. You all talk kind of funny when you... Anyway.
When we come in from a narration, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, I just want to point out that, as God just pointed out in that narration she just gave, Dromar has been proven correct once again. There is no Thieves Guild. Dromar's the best. Everybody give him a high five.
High five.
High fives all around.
Nine specifically does not give Dromar a high five.
Dromar
Robbing
just
him of the experience.
high fives Nines in the face, not caring at all.
All right.
All right.
Let's go.
Quickly.
Execute.
Sorry, I had to fix a audio snag there. We had some sound leaking out from our in-studio speakers.
Nothing messier than leaking sound.
We need all of that sound. We can't afford to lose any of it.
I know.
That's right.
It's expensive in this economy.
So, well, Franklin leads you all back through the town of Nordfeld, back to the festival chorus, where you're familiar with, and on your way to meet Ludorf. At this time of day, you've spent most of your time kind of running around the city, and now the sun is just starting to rest above the horizon, so it's quite late in the day for the city of Nordfeld. As you approach the festival chorus, it looks significantly more quiet than last time. There's only a couple of patrons sitting at the bar, sipping on some martinis, it looks like, and...
No gin and juice.
No gin and juice. No. And you are led back into Ludorf's office once again, where the familiar heavy door closes behind you. Welcome back.
We heard it was
Hello.
urgent.
I'm glad you came quickly.
We did. We moved very quickly.
We even talked about it.
Yeah.
Most of the people I deal with tend to take too much time when they are summoned. Now, I have some news on how to get into this warehouse, if you are so willing to follow up on it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be...
What's the news?
Yes, as
going to
long
be
as we don't have
dangerous.
to go through a sewer.
Yeah, we heard a lot about sewers, and Nines is very concerned about getting poop all over him, and all over his fur, and into his toe beans. It'll be very unpleasant
Even
for
if
him.
he already did that.
I don't
Voluntarily.
want to do it unwillingly.
Well, I mean, it does involve the sewers.
All right, that's fine.
All right. I don't know if you've ever spent time in our sewers, although I'd rather doubt it.
Not so far, no. It was on the list of tourist destinations, but we
Just
just
like a lake. We want to visit that too.
I am still pretty loose on the concept of a sewer.
It's like a doors for your poop.
yeah, sure.
How does that work? Like your butt cheeks?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I got nothing.
So Ludorf.
Yeah, Ludorf, why don't you explain the sewer system to our good friend Soria?
I am Magdalene.
I mean,
You guys are the best at keeping secrets.
Reset. It's Sunday afternoon, and this can mean only one thing.
Take it from the top.
Yes, we got here quickly.
Jesus.
we are very professional.
You guys are a complete mess today. The sewers are a way to take waste, refuse, and water, control it, tunnel it, and even clean it as it falls through the city.
Well,
I wrote it down.
All right.
Any questions?
No, I'm sure if we're going
I-
there, I'll get first-hand experience.
May I continue with how to get into the
Oh, yeah.
sewers?
Don't let them. Don't let them.
Oh, very
interrupt you.
good. Now, the sewers, they're usually sealed up tight. However, I have a couple of friends at the city water management division. They're willing to open up one of the access holes for us. They just need a few hours' notice. And it might be a little bit obvious if we do this during the sun time hours. So, if you want, I can have them ready quickly, but I would suggest perhaps getting a good night's rest before you venture in there.
Yeah, with like full spell slots and everything.
whatever those are.
Yeah, whatever a spell slot is.
I like
So-
to imagine my ability to cast spells in the form of slots in order to help me keep track of
So-
my magical powers.
How long have we been up visiting various and sundry places?
And it's towards the end of the day. Like I said, the sun is now just cresting
Okay.
over the horizon, and it's the tail end of a Nordfeld evening.
Shall we go back to the company house and have a long rest?
Sounds good to me.
Why don't we have them open up the sewer? Why don't we? Can you tell us where this entrance will be, and we'll meet them there at morning? I was gonna say dawn. I guess dusk.
I mean, morning would be just fine.
Yeah,
'Cause
I know.
for them it is
I was
morning.
gonna say dawn, but I realized it should be dusk for morning. Yeah.
So, well, I can have them work at almost any place. Usually have them stay away from this area, so as not to raise any suspicions. Where is most convenient for you?
Well, my associates that I'm working with are with the Company of Blades. I, Magdalene, as you know, am a freelancer.
Perhaps near the company house, then?
Yes,
Very well.
I think I got it. I think I got it
Yeah.
back.
We got a plan.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
That's great deception.
Maybe you should roll a deception check, whatever that might
I
be.
really don't think I need to. I think it was pretty great. So, why don't...
Udorf is in a state where he's just sort of accepting your eccentricities at the moment.
I got hit on the head a few days ago. I have a concussion. It's been a
He's-
thing.
He just wants you to work. He doesn't really care how weird you are at the moment.
We've all been playing the wonderful game. Whoever gets hit on the head first wins.
I had a lot to drink at Eisenhowes, you know, that sort of thing.
Oh, you visited Eisen, huh?
Yeah.
We spent.
Lying moron. Colorful writer, though. Very entertaining. Complete idiot.
Yes,
Caught him on
I
those tax
agree.
issues yet?
Not yet.
It was our Eisenhower.
What?
So, where near
Our
the
with Eisen was our Eisenhower.
where near the company house should we meet your men?
It will be a few blocks down.
All right. Which direction?
Just look for the large yellow cones.
Oh,
Yellow cones.
yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's go get some sleep. Get
They're
some
safety
spell slots.
devices to keep people away from falling into these access holes.
He's from the Fervent Wilds. He doesn't understand these things.
Oh.
It must
That
be
makes
funny
sense.
to watch people fall in manhole.
Yes. Oh, that would not be funny.
Not for a person falling in manhole.
Shall we go to
the
company
way-
house, eat some fritters, have some sleep?
You'll need to have this number. He slides a slip of paper over the table to Magdalene. On it is written 75-0184. All of the access points in our city's sewers are labeled. They have a number system. That is the ladder you're looking for. When you find that ladder, it will lead you inside the warehouse.
Great.
Perfect.
Are we
Thank you.
coming up in like a toilet or something?
No.
Oh.
The warehouse used to be a slaughterhouse before it was simply turned into storage. It had an access grate because there used to be quite a bit of runoff from the slaughterhouse there.
Lovely.
You're coming up in the now antiquated cover. To the best of my knowledge, my contact did not believe that they had sealed that. Not many
Could
people
we
go.
be coming up into a toilet instead? Is that an option?
Is
If
the
you can make yourself small enough to fit up a toilet drain, then perhaps you can arrange that.
is your bounty with prom
See what I
still
can
active?
do.
Is his head on my desk?
I look.
It's not on his. No, it's not on his desk.
So it's still active then.
Does his head
Yes.
look like a piece of paper?
You guys are really punchy today.
All right, let's go sleep. Thank you for the information, Ludorf. Are we expecting any others, or is this a sole, or are you just contracting us?
You're the ones who are running this job. I'm not bringing in anyone else.
All right,
We are exclusive.
let's
Yeah.
we leave.
We leave.
Execute.
Good Lord. All right.
And go back to the company house. That's where we're going.
Okay. Just to make sure, is there anything that you all want to do in the city's last few hours of activity before most of the citizens go to bed?
Other than getting in the warehouse and the sewers, both of which apparently we're doing,
Okay.
the only other things were like some personal stuff or checking out the Fervent Outpost outside the city. So
Yeah, I
We
think
did hear of this great pretzel place.
I've had enough. I've had a
You
pretzel
already
enough
ate from the
day.
pretzel place.
And
good
on
pretzel.
on that note,
It was a pretzel day.
well, Seth, I want you to roll d20 with advantage.
Is this a constitution check?
There are no stairs in the
I'm
company
not
house.
telling you. It's, just roll a d20 with advantage.
Oh my. No, one is twice what the other is.
That's not good.
6.
You did
Ooh.
not have a pretzel day.
Oh.
When we get into the company house,
That was your pretzel day check. You didn't have a pretzel day. It's the end of the day. You didn't find that the pretzel made you have any sort of whatever a pretzel day is. You didn't have it.
Did he find
Ulseth
that he had
is very discouraged and disappointed about that.
a bad stomach day after eating that awful everything pretzel?
I mean, it was awful, but it's all digestible, so you were fine.
Fair.
It just wasn't a pretzel day.
When we get in the company house, I'll turn into Soria.
Okay.
And I will just say, like, to the steward, hey, pass along that to Commander Soloth that we will be going into the sewers pursuing a lead tomorrow.
This makes absolute sense.
Good.
Ulseth says, you who are Zoria once again. Have you conjured your good berries for the day?
Are we about to go to sleep?
I am.
Then I will
I
cast
think so.
Good Berry with my last spell slot. The 2 melee characters, I'll give 3 berries each, and I'll give Nines and I 2.
Thank you, Soria.
Thank
You
you.
can mark down that you have 2 good berries for the next 24 hours, or 3. And then I'm gonna go to sleep.
Dromar will also go to sleep. Yes.
Yes, I'm going to sleep.
Nines will.
This is pretty exciting.
There was something he was thinking about doing, but he'll do it later.
Oh, good.
Those who are viewing this, we're now going to be spending 8 hours sleeping.
Yeah, we play in real time.
Watch is starting now.
Tune in a couple of weeks. We'll be waking up. Because we only do it during the playtime, so
Yeah.
you know.
This is hardcore mode.
Yeah.
We also, the weight listed on our character sheets, we actually have backpacks full of weight on us right now.
Yes. Also, we're all getting cosmetic surgery to become our characters.
And we can only eat when we're live. No, anyway.
Guys, this is
Once a week
Did
show
we
is
have a
going to
long
be
rest?
yeah. Do you want to move forward? Then sure.
Execute.
You have a long rest. Who's waking up Ulseth this time?
Dromar will. Or does Nines?
I'm gonna scratch at his door 2 hours before we're supposed to get up.
I sleep right through it.
Wow.
I scratch at it for about an hour.
I
then.
feel like that's a wisdom save or something to not be woken up.
I mean, Ulseth spent, how many years sleeping in the woods? Little cat scratching at a door is probably not going to bother him.
Is Nines gonna let that slide? Is he just gonna stay outside of the door and not go sit on Ulseth's face to wake him up?
Was the door slightly ajar? I could just push it open.
The door is ajar.
Was that a Space Ghost reference?
I think so.
Oh, good lord.
Wait, no.
No,
It's
it's what
close.
every car says.
Yes. So, do you go in the rooms 9? The room
Absolutely. If the
9s?
door is ajar, I will go into the room.
You're in the
What do you
room.
do?
Inside the room.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm gonna jump on the bed and just stare at Ulseth. Just
Are you on top of Ulseth?
yeah, I jumped on the bed on top, just staring expectantly.
Ulseth wakes up. Oh, it is you, Nines.
Well, I'm
Why?
hungry. Let's go eat pretzels.
Do they have pretzels here?
We have pretzels somewhere. It's a big city.
The
Yes.
21st.
Maybe I will have a pretzel day today.
okay.
I've been
So,
eating breakfast.
Nines, shall we go get pretzels?
Yes, let's go to pretzels now.
Okay.
So
We're gonna
this
go
is,
get
this
pretzels.
is still now an hour before we were planning to wake up?
I think so.
The two of them, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They,
So Dromar's still asleep.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we find pretzels?
you... I I mean, it was better than average, so sure. You find a 24-hour pretzel stand.
This place is famous for pretzels.
Okay. Well, also we'll buy one regular sea salted pretzel and one with poppy seeds.
The
and
order.
You who are vending pretzels, I wish to purchase one pretzel with sea salt and one pretzel with poppy seeds with a side cup of mustard. Nines, I will treat you to a pretzel. What kind would you like?
That's a plain pretzel with fish on it.
Ooh.
Do you have fish
terrible.
pretzel?
Let me go check. Hang on. He goes in the back.
Stands for 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is like you're out of stock of this on the shelves. Do you have any in the back?
Comes back. No, we don't have any fish pretzels.
Just regular pretzel.
Yes.
With
How much
fish.
are these 3 pretzels? How much are these? How much do I owe you for the pretzels?
5 copper.
Okay, I pay and take the pretzels.
All right.
I
you have
give
pretzels.
nines. I have for you your plain pretzel.
This is the riveting content everyone's tuned in for.
You guys are just
Like,
sleeping.
sure, there's a
I
picture in
control
the
time
sewers, but do
somehow.
they get pretzels?
We go back with our. Let us go back and enjoy our pretzels at the company house.
All right. Yeah,
long-
Brag
This
about how
takes
we have
them.
pretzels.
Are we awake yet?
I mean, this ends up taking most of that hour to like walk
Okay, so
down
we're-
there, find the place, get
So
in
we're maybe
line,
having
pay for the
breakfast.
pretzel.
Yeah, we're having a normal
a
breakfast.
normal breakfast at the company.
Wow, what a bunch of losers.
So you come into them having breakfast, and you two see them having pretzels.
That checks out.
Yep. I bet Nines probably asked for fish on his. He's such a weirdo.
Yes, he did. Unfortunately, the vendor of pretzels did not have fish pretzels.
Ah, yes, very unfortunate.
Sorry, you notice out of the corner of your eye the steward just kind of giving you all a bunch of side eye right now.
I don't think you're allowed to have outside food in here.
I don't see sign. Is there a sign?
There's not a sign. No, you don't care.
Okay.
It's mostly the fish pretzel that is causing the steward to give you all heavy side eye.
But they didn't get a fish pretzel.
We talked about it though. We made a big deal about me
Alright.
not getting it.
Let's head to the yellow cones.
Execute.
Execute. I look for yellow cones.
You leave the company house,
Yeah.
and
Follow along behind.
We just immediately drop our breakfast.
done. All right.
I figured we were close to the.
Who are you now? Are you still Zoria?
No, I changed into Magdalene for this.
Okay.
I think we need a
robes.
sign that lets us remember who you are at any
Do
given
I need
time.
a name tag
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah. I think
Just like a
Zoria should just
rotating
always wear a name
nameplate.
You get like a. Well, sometimes you wear a monocle, and the rest is your glasses. I don't have anything at hand that would be helpful.
No.
We know that you are Maggie.
I mean,
Get some hats.
Give me a piece of paper. I'll make a name tag.
you could like put this little
No.
dangly around your
I'm Magdalene. Just remember it.
There you go.
We will do our
In the
best.
future, make sure you have like name cards ready so you can just put it right back on your shawl there.
Yeah, or a series of hats that denote who you are.
You who are watching,
Have I seen the cones
please to
yet?
put in chat the character Zoya is at the moment.
What did
It
you
helps
want
with
to
our
do?
engagement.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the yellow cones.
You find them. They're not very
I
high.
go to them.
You guys are on the greatest drug bust like I've ever seen.
I follow behind Zoria.
All right.
I mean Maggie.
Yeah, who are you following?
Maggie. I'm following Maggie. Are you
I
following
will also
us?
follow. Yes, I'm also following.
Does anyone care if Nines is following?
No one pays attention to
You
nines.
reach, since y'all are just, whatever. Maggie reaches the work crew that's set up some cones around this access point, and they've got some like little hard hats on things. You for Ludorf?
Yes.
All right. Talking to this kind of surly looking human, and you know, he's got,
Wait. How is one surly looking? He's scowling?
he's like scowling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's just like, and he gives you this kind of up and down, like
I'm like trying to picture like what a surly looking person looks like.
he's just like, yeah. This guy looks like he doesn't quite trust anybody, and
Hasn't had his morning coffee.
yeah, this is every
He hates Mondays.
and it is a
And Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
It's a Monday, sure. Hates Mondays.
Loves
just-
lasagna.
Named as Andrew.
Maggie, have you found anything out about the cones?
No, you guys have been bickering too much about Mondays.
And
This
having pretzel day.
this human is kind of prying up one of the access grates right now and moving it out of the way. It's this big, heavy metal slab, and
Do you have any advice for us down there?
dangerous. If you see something moving, it's probably trying to kill you. And
That's always true.
Yeah. Don't
Oh.
move.
the sluice ways down there can get pretty slick. So, you know, try to just be careful how you step.
Dromar is gonna put on his climbing shoes.
All right. Do those provide a bonus or anything to a save, anything like that?
I mean, I don't think they technically do. Like, the whole climbing kit, like, sort of does. Like, you can't, I think it's you can't fall more than 10 feet or something like that. This is, I mean, I don't think there's technically a, in-game, like, just wearing the climbing shoes does this. I just figured it would, you know, potentially make it less slippery for Dromar. You can do with that whatever you want or
Yeah.
not want.
It probably won't help much, but we'll see.
Okay.
They've got the grate open, and it's a little ladder down into this hole.
Does it smell like Axe body spray?
It definitely doesn't. Axe body spray
Smells
smells
better.
significantly better than what you're smelling coming out of here.
What?
Wow.
I don't think
This-
there's anything that smells.
Wow, they didn't even pay us to
Worse than
tell
Axe body
our
spray.
viewers that Axe body spray smells a lot better than a sewer.
I'm climbing down.
All right.
I do follow along.
I also follow.
And I'm guessing that Nines is bringing up the rear.
Yes.
Okay. As you descend down into this area, you move, it's only about 15 feet of ladder that you're climbing down. Not the biggest ladder, but you're fairly well under the city streets at this point. And there's a little landing pad that you have set up on. And then a couple steps down to a lower flat area. From where you're kind of gathering just outside of this lower stairwell, it's really hard to see anything. It's just about pitch black. And this smell that you first got a whiff of up in the fresh air of the city streets is now permeating your olfactory senses. The odor is so overwhelming that even an army of descriptors wouldn't be able to do this justice. Suffice it to say that the pungent aroma of decay and sulfur lingers in this stale air, unmoving and utterly stifling. Permeates your clothes and hair, or fur, if you're Nines. And you just know that whatever you're walking through is never going to fully wash out. The dim light filters through the drains and the grates above you, and it barely illuminates this area. For most of this, just to kind of cover all our bases ahead of time, unless I tell you otherwise, the two characters that do not have dark vision, Sori and Ulseth, your vision is limited to about 10 feet. And then it's just inky blackness. The characters with dark vision can see out 60 feet.
Well, I will.
And then it's too dark to see beyond that. And we're going to leave that as kind of the status quo for most of this dungeon, unless I tell you otherwise.
I would like to bring out my lamp,
Okay.
which says it does bright light for 15 feet and dim light for 30.
Okay. With that out, should you slip or fall or anything, it would extinguish. I'll say that you can relight it, but it would be wet if that ever happens. Because you are in a sewer, there's lots of water moving around here, so that's a possibility.
I'll attach it to the end of my staff.
Okay. So you now have dim light out 15 feet, and can see reasonably well. And Ulseth, you gain roughly the same benefit as long as you're next to Soria. But the light's centered on her. Is there anything else that anyone wants to do? I know, Dromar, you have a hooded lantern. I don't know if you're interested in lighting that.
Yeah, I'm gonna light my hooded lantern. I was just thinking that as well.
Okay. I think that has roughly the same effects, but
Only in one direction.
I think it's further. It's it says it has a bright light, 30 foot, dim light, additional 30 feet.
okay. So,
Dromar and Zoria,
I can also-
I do much appreciate the light you have provided. Otherwise,
my pleasure.
it was inky black. I could barely see 10 feet.
Yeah, light helps. Even for us with dark vision, it helps. I also just want to note, Dromar can adjust the hood on his lantern to provide less light, reducing it down to a 5 foot radius if he so chooses.
okay. Where do you want to start? Full light?
Yeah, right
Full
now I'll
illusion?
have it full light.
Okay. So you've got some visibility out to 60 feet. It doesn't do anything to really change the vision of the two people with dark vision, but for the two characters that don't have dark vision, you guys can now see reasonably well out about 60 feet. And you have very clear illumination within 15 feet as well, like really nicely clear. So if anything comes right close to you, you'd be able to see it. And
So-
that 15 to 30 foot's a little dimmer.
Ulseth has noticed that he's becoming somewhat disoriented because all the walls look the same.
They do.
So he takes out a piece of his chalk, which he carries, and says, "It is possible we may get lost. When we come to a junction, I will mark on the wall the direction we have taken, so that if we arrive back again, we know what areas we have covered."
That's a very good idea.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
Thank you. I will do that.
I'm gonna take a little piece of cloth, some spices out of my spice pouch, and wrap it around my face to help cover the smell up.
Okay, so you're like spinning some spices together and then just like tying that under your nose.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. It smells
Like
Like spice
poop
sewer.
and oregano.
it smells like poop and oregano. But more oregano than poop because it's
take
so
it.
close to kind of blocking that.
So
but
like a Fazoli's.
Oh no.
oh dear. Oh dear. There's no recovering from that. Moving on.
Well, we are now in the sewer.
Now that you have your lanterns lit and kind of set up to venture down here, you see that this room, and you can't quite see the far edges of it. It goes just beyond the edge of your lantern light, because where you stand, you are right at the entrance. But off in the far corner on the north side of this room, and let me just ask the question, is anyone going to be trying to draw this dungeon out?
I was going to, yeah.
Okay. For the sake of your sanity, this is in the bottom right corner is where we're starting. I'll be nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're in a roughly square room. You can't tell just by quick glance if it's even on all four sides, but it's mostly square. Off in the far northeast corner, there's a little elbow angle, and you see this sluiceway that you'd been warned about.
Which way is northwest from us? I mean, are we like in the southeast corner?
You are currently on the eastern side of this room.
Okay.
And there's, you can tell, you guess about 15, 20 feet, both to the north and south of you in this room. So you have some fairly sizable walls, both north and south of you in this corner, with the sluiceway in the northwest area. The water is moving fairly quickly, and with the amount of rain that Nordfeld gets, this is unsurprising.
I'll walk into the middle of this room and just sort of take a survey, see if there's any, move in with my lamp and see if I can see anything else in the room.
Moving around the room, there's a fairly large area that seems to be almost like a staging area, and that kind of makes sense if this is one of the access points. There's a few pipes and repair kits and things like that. A lot of utility pieces strewn about on the edges. A couple of shelves and hooks hold up some tools and other kits to repair things.
Want a free crowbar?
Yes, is there anything?
Yes!
Yes, I would like a crowbar, thank you.
Sure, there are a couple crowbars if you guys want to steal from the city. Go right ahead.
I'm absolutely taking a crowbar.
Okay, go ahead and
Drone
add a
already
crowbar.
has a crowbar.
I know. I'm just because Ulsa bent my crowbar once.
Yeah, you made it all straight again.
But I got a new one.
Now it is just a bar.
The really cool people use Raven bars.
Boo.
Was there anything else in the room that, from just a quick glance around?
No, this is a fairly, nondescript area. It looks like this is just meant for workers. I mean, you're in the sewerways. There's not a ton that they're going to put down here for decorations.
So we have the one-way north then.
You have the one-way north, and you also have, because there's a corner bend on this sluiceway, you have one way that's headed westward.
Oh, okay.
And those seem to be the only two ways out of this room.
Where was the warehouse located in the city? Maybe we should have gone to a place
was-
closer to the warehouse.
East, wasn't it?
I thought it was west.
We have been in the
It is
sewer
west.
It was
for
west.
Oh.
5
west.
feet.
Okay.
We have moved 5 feet in the sewer and now have no idea which way we're going.
Mm.
Dromar has a compass and a magic compass.
Yeah, I have both of those things.
And I will and also will turn to you who are now Maggie.
Yes.
Did Ludorf give you any directions other than the piece of paper with a number as to how to reach the warehouse from here?
Nope.
I mean, we were there for the whole conversation,
Yeah.
Seth.
I know. This is what troubles me.
Well, the warehouse was west of us, so let's go down the western tunnel then.
All right. Would you like me to lead the way?
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yes.
I'm gonna do a little belt work to kind of hike up my ropes. We're going into a sluice.
Yeah, because the sluiceways are going to be most of what you travel in down here.
So I'd like to. I have multiple outfits, so I'm gonna take some belts from them and just sort of like fold the robes up into to make them like short ropes, I guess.
Okay.
Makes sense. You're gonna gird
fair.
your loins, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joke's on you guys. My pants aren't even pants anymore.
Yes, that is
You
the
are-
joke on us.
You were born for this environment.
Are you down here barefoot, Nine? Sometimes you wear boxes on your feet, so I want to ask.
I don't want to get my boxes dirty. That'd just be irresponsible.
Okay. I will take up the rear to provide like a rear guard in case anything comes at us from behind.
Yeah, we should maybe have Dromar with the lantern going forward because you have the best lighting from yours. And I'll sort of be more towards the back so we can see behind us.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'll be in
Execute.
back with
Wait,
Olsef.
so
Yes.
Olsef is afraid that something in the sewer might be coming from the rear.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Okay, Dromer is going
That's
to
our-
move forward.
That's our number 2 concern. Let's go.
Oh, God.
Under
Well,
7?
today is the
that it?
episode you get all the poop jokes we promised everybody.
The 7-year-olds are happy right now. I should have thought better
yes.
about sending you guys in a sewer. I am now realizing I've made a grievous mistake.
Yes.
I'm really grievous.
Yeah, so Dromar will have his hooded lantern out in front of him, and I guess he'll take. I hate to have things in both of my hands and not have a weapon, but I guess I'll take out my orb of direction in the other hand so I can make sure I know where I'm going and move westward.
Okay. You start moving down this westward canal, and you're traveling down this sluiceway for quite a ways, several hundred yards. Move down this sluiceway until you enter another room, and this room is mostly made of sluiceway. And there's a narrow platform on both the north and south of that low canal. However, these flat areas don't look like they're meant to be part of the design. Rather, the stone seems to have been chipped away by something. Anyone?
I'd like to take a closer look.
I'm gonna do like perception check, sort of scan the room for dangers while he's checking closer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and make make an investigation check here.
Okay.
Guidance.
That's not great. Let's see if the guidance helps. The guidance sort of helped. So that's gonna be 8 plus 6, which is 14. 14.
All right. As you investigate these kind of broken apart segments here, you can tell that clearly something unnatural has been going at this. Not to say like magical or supernatural or anything, but this is not part of their design, and it doesn't seem like this is some sort of incidental failing. Mm-hmm. There are a couple signs that this seem to be some sort of impacts in here. You can see divots dug in. Make an insight check.
Right, too late.
That's okay. That was a good roll. That's going to be a dirty 20.
Okay. The longer you take a look at these things, the more that you think that these are actually teeth marks.
Huh. These, I hate to break this to you all, but these seem to be teeth marks here.
Why were you trying to eat the wall then?
Can I go? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I went to inspect and see if I can have any, with my like nature knowledge of animals and stuff, see what kind of, if this might be like an animal teeth marks.
Or maybe at least how big of a thing this was.
Yeah.
All right. Given that you have been cued to the fact this is likely an animal that's doing this, and Dromar kind of points out what to look for to help you out. I'm not going to make you roll because you already have some information. And you see it's very clearly two distinct teeth marks that are making this very close
Sort
together.
of like a rodentia beaver.
You are pretty sure it's some sort of rodent.
sewer
Possibly
beavers.
a very large rat or
it's the
something like a
ROUSs.
beaver, something like that. But whatever it is, it's big because the teeth are they're about yay big.
We're definitely dealing
For
with
the podcast audience, that's like
2 inches. Each tooth is about 2 inches. This is a giant tooth.
It looks like we're dealing with large-sized sewer beavers.
ROUSs.
No, R-O-U.
My arch nemesis.
B-O-U-S-S.
You also
Yes.
take note that at the end of this room, where it's sort of impromptu room, it wasn't meant to be here, the sluiceway is sealed off with iron bars, tightly put together. There's only about 4 inches between each bar, and they are set into the concrete, both above and below.
Is this the only way out?
Yep, that's the only way forward, so there's not a path to continue down this way.
But the tunnel
There's no-
continues.
The tunnel continues, but you cannot continue forward. At least without trying to break through these fairly sturdy-looking
How
bars.
thick are they?
They're like 2-inch thick
wow.
steel bars.
If only one
Seth,
of us
why
had
don't you,
fireball.
you use one of those crowbars to try to get us through here?
You would like me to pry out a bar or two?
Yes, please. If you can.
He can't.
I mean, it's worth a shot. He's a strong dude.
What's the worst that
I'll watch
happens? We
this.
get a new crowbar from the other room.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, let's
that
steal
is.
more crowbars. The city won't
So-
be mad about that.
We are sneaking in here illegally anyway. Like,
What
Yeah.
have you what have you found out about the marks that we are seeing on the walls?
oh, they're made by giant rats, or perhaps beavers, or maybe a mink. I don't really know what sort of things live down in sewers, but you know, beavers live in water.
Some sort of overbite rodent.
Yeah,
Oh.
but exceptionally large because their teeth are like 2 inches
Oh,
across.
then how big would the animal be?
Probably upwards of 500 feet wide.
I'm so glad I asked.
How do they fit
I
in
go
the
to
sewers?
I go to inspect the bars that Nine has asked me to remove. How are they set?
Nines didn't ask you to remove them. That was Dromar.
You hurt Dromar's feelings also.
Can one do that?
So, what
So
do you-
what if
do you
I
wanna find out about the
inspect? Are
bars?
they like set in mortar?
I think she said like concrete.
They're set into the concrete that makes up these, all of these sewer canals.
So it's concrete, okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
concrete.
I will take the crowbar
Guidance.
and attempt to break away the concrete at the bottom to loosen one of the bars.
Go ahead and make a strength roll. I mean, not really an attack here, so just make a
But you have
strength roll.
guidance.
I do.
If it only takes him about 10 hours to break through these bars, and there's no more of these, we're gonna be great.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
That would be
Another riveting episode of Dice and Dungeons.
Okay, that's just
We're not riveting,
strength
we're
check,
trying.
not a saving throw, right?
That is a strength check, correct? Not a
23.
saving throw. All right.
Unless you say it's coming right for us and pretend that the bars are attacking you, and then you can do a saving throw.
I'll do that next.
That is not how this works.
They are pretty
I'll
scary
cast
bars.
minor illusion to make it seem like the bars are about to attack Olsef.
So, you throw as much weight as you can behind this crowbar, slamming it down into the concrete.
And let's say we don't spend more than like 5 minutes trying to do this.
And
We could say that.
you start chipping away at it. After a couple minutes of trying to do it this way, because I mean you're using a crowbar and you're chipping away at concrete. Your arms start to get a little bit sore from just the sheer impact that you're hitting this with, and the concrete. I mean, it's chipping away. You've gotten maybe a 1/4 inch kind of chipped away around the base of this.
While he's making all this noise, I am keeping an eye out for sewer beavers.
All right,
Just so you know.
go ahead and
Set.
make a perception check.
Just waiting for this giant rat to walk by.
Okay,
Like, hey, are you a beaver? No, okay, you're fine.
16.
You don't hear anything,
Okay. Other than the extremely loud.
Other than the clanging of Ulseth smashing the crowbar into concrete and a little bit of steel bar and the rushing of water, no new sounds have emerged.
Well, Seth, maybe instead of chipping away the concrete, you could try just bending the bars with your crowbar.
I inspect the bars. Are there any places where they look really rusty, like corroded and rotten?
There's nothing that looks particularly more rusty, eroded, or rotten than any other piece of it. There are, spots of a little bit of rust here and there, but they look to be pretty sturdy things. And if you want, you can even take a couple of good square kicks on the bars to see if there's any give, and you're not detecting any from a little bit of
I think
contact.
It does not seem that I can get through these bars.
Well, no, I was saying you should try bending them, not just
walking through them.
kicking them.
I will make one effort. Why not? With the crowbar, using one bar as leverage against the other bar. So I put the crowbar against a bar, the other one behind that one, and push on it.
Like that.
Like a lever
Yes.
Okay.
to try to bend them.
Yeah, I think
At the most rotten, rusty.
I think you could make that geometry work. You'd probably only be, if it moves at all, you'd probably only be able to move it about half an inch. Just hooking it around a bar and then in front of another one.
It'll bend up forward and backwards more than side
Yeah,
to side.
you'd be able to move the bars kind of forward and back a little bit. But you can test
We'll
if
see
you can
if
move
they're at
it.
least bendable.
You just won't be able to get a whole lot because eventually that bar is going to come into contact with another bar as you're pushing into the leverage there.
I have tried.
You haven't tried yet.
Or if you go around
I
it.
have tried. Oh, that was terrible.
At least Nines is frozen on a very pleasant. Ooh, he just unfroze. All you have to do
The
is
paralyze effect wore off.
Total of 7.
So
you give a really
AT&T is providing my internet connection, by the way.
you give a really solid effort to try and move this, but you're not seeing that there's any sort of give in these bars right now.
maybe we should just try the other path.
All right, that sounds good. I'm a little hesitant now that we know about these RESs to not have a weapon in my hand. Do you think we need the orb of direction, or?
Well, I'm drawing a map in my little book here, so unless we get
Just hand
turned
it to
around-
someone else.
Yeah, Nines.
I can hold it for you.
He's trustworthy.
Is
I
he?
promise to give it back.
Well, it doesn't seem like we need it, so I'll just put it away very securely.
Look at that trust, everyone.
Bonds of friendship.
That's right. So Dromar will now
We'll do a
take
trust
out
fall later in this campaign.
one of his short swords. I guess his short sword of loyalty, since he's only got one, and he'll hold his hooded lantern in the other hand and start moving back from whence he came.
Notice he
right.
didn't pull out his short sword of trust.
I don't have a short sword of trust. I'm not sure that exists.
That's because you don't have any trust.
Olseth has been marking the wall as we go.
All right.
As I said, I don't need to repeat that, do I?
No, I'll assume. Which side do you want to mark?
I'll always mark the right side with an arrow pointing in the direction we've gone.
Okay.
So
And
does
I'm guessing
this,
that you don't mark it on the way back.
that's what I was about to say. I kind of assume that it's arrows going towards the bars, and then on the other side, arrows coming away from the bars.
I could do that if you think you need that.
Here's where we made a U-turn.
Dromar!
There's a little drawing of Ulsa trying to pry some bars. And really
sad
chronicle.
face.
In 100 years, someone's going to come down here and be like,
Dromar, you are leading
Yeah, the
us.
chalk's definitely
Let
gonna
us-
last out.
let
Do
us-
you think that I need to mark the wall that we have gone back the same way that we have come?
Yeah, actually, it wouldn't hurt. Honestly, I was saying it as a joke, but at the same time, we don't if we see that they're on both walls, we know that this is where we turned around and we don't need to go this way.
Okay, I go ahead and mark the wall
All right.
everywhere we go, regardless of how we've gone.
Okay, so
I have chalk.
you do that. You make your way back down, marking your path of direction. You leave a little picture of you trying to bend some bars up in that room. It's very artful. Looks nice. And you find yourselves now several hundred yards back down the way that you came in the original room.
Well, let's go north.
Yeah, it's the only other option.
All right.
Execute.
So you head up the northern passageway. This is not nearly as far before you hit a different room. It's only about 100 yards or so up this way. And this time it's a circular room where there's a meeting point of 4 different sluiceways forming a cross section. And there's small little areas to stand in between. So if you can picture kind of a circle and then a cross that goes and bisects it. Then you've got little semicircular slices that you can stand in each corner of this crossway.
What did this room do wrong?
It
You
didn't do
said that
anything
we
wrong.
hit the room, so I'm assuming that it did something that made us want to hit it.
Okay, we're at a crossroads, so we should each take a different tunnel. I'll go south.
No, don't split the party, Soria.
You
We've
can
discussed this before.
you can rule out the easternmost sluiceway. There are another set of bars there, unless you'd like to try these bars.
Are they the same, I assume?
If I ever say that there's bars blocking your way, assume that they're set in the same fashion.
No, I'm not going to
What
do
kind
that.
of bar is it? Is it like
Fair enough.
A tiki?
like yeah, is it a tiki bar? Is
A
it like
dive bar.
a TGI Fridays type place?
Do you want to try?
This is
Do we want to try west
Steel
again?
bars. So I don't know, whatever kind of bar is in Philadelphia, that's the kind of bar it is. It's a steel bar.
Oh, okay.
no, south is the way we came.
Or Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
rather than
so-
Entered.
Philadelphia.
I like
we
that.
entered from the south, and the east is
Barred.
barred.
So we can try and go west again, or we can go north.
Let's try west.
Okay.
I will give you
That's
this
where we wanna go.
little piece of information as you kind of deliberate which way to head. Out of the north tunnel, the air smells cleaner. It smells less painful. There's a kind of fresher scent out of the northern tunnel.
It would be more
Yeah, let's
pleasant
go
to go
west.
north. So
You want to go to the smell?
yes, away from the good air.
Yeah, away from the good air.
Okay.
Okay.
Because the good air is unlikely to be at the warehouse. Probably.
Why? Okay.
I don't know.
Because the warehouse is west, and we haven't gone that way.
Yeah.
with
The good
Untitled
air
Chapter.
could be like out to wherever the exit to the sewer system leads, like the sea or whatever.
Oh, right.
I don't know. Or
Yes.
the lake.
The lake.
The lake,
Which is
yeah.
why the lake is so beautiful.
Because of all the pollution.
And why it tastes like Dasani. It's because of all the shit in it.
And why
That's a
it
good
bubbles.
question. Did the warehouse, when we were by the warehouse, would they have had something that may have had a distinct smell in that area? Because even though they're doing illegal things, they could have a front.
I mean, not that comes to mind, at least from the warehouse that you guys were at. There were a lot of warehouses. It was kind of a light industrial area of the city where that warehouse was in. But if you're just talking the specific one where you're trying to get into, they didn't seem to offer any sort of front to whatever they were doing there.
I mean, a warehouse, you're not going to have as many people using the bathroom as like a commercial or residential area. So it would theoretically smell better.
Yeah, I mean, unless
You never worked at a warehouse, have you?
No, I haven't.
there's also like if there's other slaughterhouses, if this used to be a
That
slaughterhouse,
could be. Yeah.
that doesn't smell too great.
Well, let's just check west.
Yeah, execute.
I'll head west.
Okay. Traveling down the sluiceway once again, sort of sloshing through the waters. It's flowing a little bit faster here than in the other areas. Not sure why, but there's more flow here. You come a couple hundred yards westward down this sluiceway, and then it starts to bend southward. And after making a turn slowly over another, say, 75 yards or so in lateral westward movement, it goes upwards, north now. So you're now traveling northwards in this sluiceway, and you enter into a small-ish room. It's a little bit smaller than the first room that you came down into, and you see that it has a junction of a couple of sluiceways, and there's an area with some bars blocking the sluiceway off on the east side of this room.
Bars are very popular here in the sewers.
Yeah, I mean, they must have a lot of patrons down here, I guess.
Are there any other exits?
From where you stand just entering the room, you think that there's one over on the southwestern corner, but just walking into this room, you can't quite be sure.
I'm gonna do a scan around for rats and stuff, just
So,
immediately.
I'd like to get oriented. So we're coming up from the south, going north.
Yep.
Are we like in the corner of the room, in the center of the room?
You're about in the center of the room here.
I want to just scan for rats and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
Immediately.
I assume Dromar being in the lead is just like constantly scanning also, just like looking
That's
around.
what your passive
trying to
perception
see.
is for.
Okay.
And if you come across anything that meets your passive perception, that's how to use passive perception as a dungeon master. So that's what I'm using. If you want to stop at any time and make an active perception check, then you can ask me to do so. Otherwise, I'm just going to be using that passive.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Then yeah, I
like
guess
17, so.
I'll also roll one.
Okay.
21.
Are you checking too? Sorry?
Yeah, I got a dirty 20.
Okay.
Dromar and Maggie, could you please let us know what you see?
We
Of
will.
course, Olsath.
It looks like
In this room, you don't, looking specifically for signs of a large rodentia, you don't see anything that's sticking out to you. There are no signs of droppings or teeth marks or nest making or anything like that.
But there is one giant beaver in the middle of the room.
Yes, would you like to buy a fur hat?
The barred off area to your west, you do notice.
I thought it was east.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Okay,
East. I'm
okay,
sorry,
okay.
I said that wrong. Off to your east, that barred area, it looks. It is very pitch dark in there. Like it seems like there's no throughout all of these areas. There've been like little trickles of outside light from drains and access points that let just a teeny bit of light filter down. It doesn't look like there's anything at all in that room. And it kind of reads darker than the other areas that you've seen so far, and it kind of sticks out to you.
Drummer is gonna walk over there with his lantern out in front of him, trying to illuminate the area.
Okay. Give me a second here, because I'm gonna have you roll something.
Guidance, just in case.
Thank you.
All right. How close do you get to these bars?
I mean, I guess I'll keep going forward until I see anything, because I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have my lantern out in front of me. I still have my sword drawn also, and I'm just trying to like illuminate the bars and see if there's anything going on there. So
Put your arm through the bars.
I'm not gonna put my arm through the bars.
Put your
I'm
head
gonna,
first.
I put my right foot in, I put my right foot out. No, I guess if I still can't see anything, I'm gonna walk right up to the bars.
Okay. As you get close to the bars, why don't you make an intelligence check?
Omar, what do your goblin eyes see?
That was very average.
You can
So-
add guidance to it, though. If you want.
Yeah, I did. I rolled. I
okay.
rolled right down the middle on both of them. I rolled a 10 on the d20 and a 2 on the guidance. So this is an intelligence check, you said?
Yes.
For those of you under
Okay.
7, that's 12.
Yes, that is 12. So altogether, it's going to be a 16.
All right. You get close to these bars, and upon close inspection, you notice just a little kind of glint to these bars that makes you question if there's not something a little different about them. You're not sure what. You suspect it might be coated with something.
Can he see
Or-
deeper into the room?
Or I'll get there.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe there's an enchantment on it because you've seen enchanted things, but in the light you can't quite tell what this might be. But you can tell there's kind of something up with the bars. In the room, now that you're shining your lantern in there, it is a small circular room, and I'm gonna pull up the description here. There's a fair amount of water running down over this center graded area. So in the center of this circular room, taking up about half of the diameter of this room, there's a grate where the water is falling into. And there's this kind of disgusting film, slime, gooey stuff that's forming on the top of it. It looks like it's catching all of the detritus. And there's no access point other than this. So whatever this room is, it's a drain at least, and there's these bars that have some sort of coating or enchantment or something up with them. And you can't make out anything else.
Can I roll an Arcana check?
Yeah, go ahead.
Not good. That is a 7.
Is he describing this at all, or are you just looking?
Right now, I'm just looking.
You can't. You get the vague idea that this is probably not an oil, and it's probably some sort of enchantment. But you have no idea what the enchantment is that's on these bars. You're pretty sure there's some sort of enchantment.
Okay.
And the longer you stand here, the more, and this goes for all of you, not just Dromar, the more that you kind of notice there's this, like, low, echoing, rumbling kind of sensation. You don't really hear it, you feel it, and it's just very low and subtle, and it's starting to put all of you just a little ill at ease.
Nines is just sitting there with his drums. Doing it.
There's a room behind these bars, but the bars seem kind of weird. Like, I think they might be magical. Soria or Ulseth, would one of you mind taking a look?
Sure.
I can detect magic. I will
I
try.
know. Do you want to do that?
I would. Yes.
Otherwise, I can look with my Arcana, but if you want to see it just straight up if they're magic, go ahead.
I'll detect magic on the bars.
They are magical, so you're now certain that these have some sort of enchantment to them.
And you get to see the spell school, I think, right?
Yeah.
It is evocation.
Evocation.
No.
I was expecting abjuration.
I don't know what the difference is.
Abjuration's like defense spells. Evocation's
evocation?
attack and like summoning like lightning and stuff.
Oh, interesting.
These bars do have magic. It seems to be of the type that may summon something. I do not know how it would be triggered, what would set it off, but
Maybe you should touch it.
maybe not.
Is it like maybe this is like basically an electric fence?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Nines, why don't you touch the bars?
All right. I go up and touch the bar.
Oh no.
Really? Oh, okay.
That was very
Okay.
brave. Me. Is that the correct word?
Make a dexterity saving throw.
No.
No.
That's gonna be a 7.
Oh yeah, that you do not manage to make this save, and so
I'm staying far back from all this.
as you touch the bars, you grab on with both paws, and
We're just
I
gonna
just
touch
go
them.
straight into it. Okay.
Nothing like that.
grab on, and it takes you just a second too long to realize that these are very hot. All the rest of you observe that these bars quickly go from normal-ish looking steel bars to glowing red hot bars. And you take 6 fire damage.
Oh no. It's a good thing you don't make your money with your hands.
Well,
That's-
now we know what
which
they
is-
do.
Which is the 2/3 of your health, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that is correct.
This means there must be something important on the other side. We have to get through.
Okay.
Nines,
Can we see it?
grabbing the bars.
I give Nines my 3 good berries.
I'll get him one of mine so he has 6 good berries altogether if he wants.
That was.
Maybe hit it with your head a little bit, you know.
Is there anything
you should
beyond
try
that I
that.
can see? I'll go over and look.
There's nothing more than what I've described. Nines, did you eat all the good berries?
I ate
recovered
3 of
from-
them.
Okay,
One
so-
of my own and the 2 that were handed to me.
Okay.
Oh, I gave you 3.
You had 6 total because you have 2. I gave you 1, and Olseth gave you 3.
I'll eat 4 of them then.
Okay. You're down 2 hit points.
Is there any sort of okay?
There's nothing more that you can see than what I've described to
Okay.
you.
That's just a drain with some goo.
Dromar, perhaps you
Yeah.
would look around the room to see if there is another exit.
All right.
Dromar will make
Make
his
it
way
so.
around the perimeter of the room.
You get over to the west side of the room. Are you guys kind of moving together at this point?
Yeah, generally. I think that's a general policy down here.
As you move
Sounds
away from that area over to the west side of the room, it becomes apparent that there is another open sluice way. It quickly bends around a corner after about 10 yards or so. And that's the way out. As you are making your way over there, from that sealed away chamber with the drain, you start to hear this kind of gurgling noise.
Ooh,
And-
someone has just flushed.
And this pungent smell of feces and rotting garbage
Yep,
Even-
I think you're right, Elsa.
permeates the air. And this noise
it's
continues.
even worse than the smell
Yes,
that
yeah, it's even worse.
we went into the really bad smell place as opposed to the good smell place.
Yeah, this is the worst it's been.
Yes, we're underneath the buffet district.
I'm gonna be looking over there and seeing if there's something going on.
All right. It is well out of your sight right now.
Okay.
So it's just kind of this, blackness off there. It's well beyond the 60-foot range of any illumination, but you can all hear echoing this gurgling sound and this bubbling, oozing kind of noise from over there. It's getting louder and echoing around. When all of a sudden, those bars light up again,
Like red.
like red hot, and illuminate that to side of the chamber. And what you see is this black bubbling mass of fetid rats and food, slime, and various other bits of filth. It's slowly moving its way through the bars. And as it hits these burning hot pieces of steel, it's searing away bits of this mass, making the smell even worse, because now that's burning all of that rotting organic matter. And it's just shoving its way through these things.
This really is for the under 7s, isn't it?
What did you do?
Dromar is
Nines?
going to attach his lantern to a clip on his belt and take out his other sword.
I'm gonna back up against the wall, the far wall, from this thing.
Soria,
Yeah.
you notice that this blob, as it gets to, it's about halfway through these bars now, moving slowly.
So does it
Around
come through
its-
in slices? Like these bars are slicing it out?
I mean, it's pushing itself through it, kind of like if you put Jello through like a fork, and then if that Jello could congeal back again, that's what it looks like it's doing. Really disgusting Jello filled with rotting rat corpses and poop.
How many viewers do we have left now?
This is a very interesting episode if you're just joining us.
This is clearly some sort of monster, right?
Yeah, this is clearly some sort of monster.
Should I just throw a fairy
no.
fire on it while it's moving?
You do...
Yeah, do that.
I don't think fire's gonna do much against a thing that just went through
Fairy fire.
fire. Oh,
Yeah, not
You
actual
notice-
fire.
Only you notice this, but around its base, as it gets beyond those searing hot bars, what bits of it are left, it has like this sort of steam coming off from around its base, where it comes in contact with the algae and water and stuff that are flowing through the sluiceways and are kind of on the bottom.
So it's like
It's
it itself is like hot or acidic or something.
that's kind of the idea that you get.
I'm gonna cast fairy fire on this thing.
Right. With that, we are gonna have everybody roll for initiative because you are making an attack.
Not bad.
11.
18.
17.
What?
Ooh,
Jinx!
hi.
So
You
17
owe me
for
a soda.
both Ulseth and Nines,
I said jinx.
right?
and I said, "You owe me a soda."
And you had 18?
Yeah.
Okay. Then, Soria, you are up first, and then Nines and Ulseth, because Nines, you have the better dexterity, and then we'll see who's after that. 'Cause I don't want to give away the entire combat roll here. But it is a slow, massive, black, oozy filth, so not going first.
Since this is
I
moving
was
so
casting-
slow, perhaps
I said
we
I was
can
casting
outrun it.
fairy
What's the save
fire.
on that?
Dexterity 15.
All right. It fails that save, so it now has fairy fire. And let me go turn on the battle screen here.
The whole area in like a 20-foot cube. And well, so as you're doing that, what I'm doing is I'm whispering my druidic into my hands, and I create a giant, vibrant, neon green pile of spores and blow them out across the room.
That's unlike
Yeah, that's what
Nine's
we need
pocket.
down here. More mold and stuff.
Shut up. And I blow them all over in a 20-foot cube. Everything in there is lit up bright, sort of neon green, including this ooze thing, which is now outlined and sheds dim light in a 10-foot radius around it.
Okay.
So I guess if there's any other enemies that we don't know yet,
If
know
there's
about, they'll
anything
be
else in
eliminated
there,
too.
so yeah, they would have to make a save too.
There's nothing else in there.
Okay.
It's just this big, disgusting blob. And I'll grab the fairy fire enchantment.
The party
If
would
you
not
wouldn't mind
consider
placing that down.
running away from it, would it?
I mean, it. No.
Although,
just-
Jomar,
wait,
you
so-
are at a serious disadvantage because
positioned?
it does not seem to have a butt.
You guys are basically positioned right there. It's kind of moving its way
Close as
towards
bad
you.
as
I
butt.
think I was
I
a little
can
further.
stab people in other places that aren't their butts.
Oh, that is good to know.
I know I was further back because I.
Yeah.
Very talented.
I mean, you know, I just stab things until I create a butt.
Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
I I'll say I think it's really hot or acidic or something, and I'm gonna move like over here, I guess.
Okay. Nines, it's your turn. Ulseth, you're up next.
I'm going to take 2 steps back away from the monster.
All right, next to me.
I am going to call the monster smelly and ugly with vicious mockery because it is smelly and ugly.
I want to hear you say it.
Yeah.
Monster, you are smelly and ugly, like Dromar, but worse.
Hey, what?
Dromar takes psychic damage.
Canonically, Dromar is the only person in this party who has bathed.
Never.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually true, I think. Dromar is the only person, like, during roleplay that has made a point of bathing or washing his clothes.
If I'm not mistaken, Vicious Mockery does psychic damage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, against all odds, it can be affected by this, even if it can't feel the insult. Through sheer game mechanics of D&D, you can apparently insult a non-sentient slime to death.
Makes sense.
What's the save on
That's
this?
good. Keep it going.
It is a 14 wisdom save.
All right.
The slime is really questioning its life choices right now.
What am I doing down here?
Why do I
Should have been a
smell?
lawyer.
Okay, it makes the save.
Wow.
It rolled a nat 20.
Wow.
So even though it seems improbable that the non-sentient black ooze
I have
isn't really
confidence in
affected by
myself.
that, do they take half damage if they make the save, or do they take no damage? I forgot.
They just don't take any damage, if I remember right.
Okay.
No, I was right to drop out of school and haunt the sewer.
Your insult doesn't have any apparent effect on the creature? Is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
Still ugly and still smells, so I know I'm right.
I mean, fair enough.
That's the important thing.
All right. Is there
Also,
anything else you want to
can you do anything that's not physical damage?
Yeah, you might hurt yourself hitting this thing.
I mean, it might hurt my blades because it looks like it's
It's burning the ground,
burning
right?
the ground.
It is. Don't take too long conversing here, otherwise I'll force the turn.
I could slice pieces off of it.
You know what? I'm just
will.
gonna run away.
I like the idea of running away. I will go
I
up.
go as far away in a different direction than the one we came,
Okay.
if
Then,
possible.
You go ahead and, if you wouldn't mind, moving Nines kind of around that corner there.
Like over here.
Yeah. Nines is now moving down that sluiceway.
Yes. And
Jomar,
I'm
what do
going
you
to
think?
save my bardic inspiration for some other time.
Shall we attack it with our blades?
Yeah, I think so. Ulseth, are your blades magical?
No. They are
Yeah,
very.
I'd still try hitting it.
They are very fine weapons.
Are they important to you?
Yes, very important.
No, Ulseth has definitely not made his weapons like a huge integral part of his character's identity.
I will attack first with a Lashalar.
Are you moving up and attacking it?
Yes, I'm going to move up to just across, straight across, and then no, to your right there.
Hope you don't ruin your swords.
I will make a quick.
Do you have it? Wait, before you go, do you have different weapons?
No, I have no. I have a crowbar.
I could, if you instead come back to me, you could take my scimitar.
This is a very long conversation.
Yeah, you guys hurry.
I'm using my crowbar. I'm taking the crowbar and slashing at it.
That's
to
a
see
good test.
What effect,
Okay.
if anything, a weapon might have against the slime?
So this is an improvised weapon.
Yes.
You're untrained, so
Yes.
You don't get to have your attack bonus on this.
Yes.
Just go ahead and roll d20 with advantage because of fairy fire.
11.
All
Do you
right.
get to add strength or anything?
You can add strength on this, so would that bring it up to 14?
15.
15. That does hit, so go ahead and roll 1d4 for damage. And then you can add your strength to it.
6.
Okay.
But what happens to the crowbar?
As you smack this thing with the
crowbar.
kind of the do you want to use the piercing kind of end, or you want to use the blunt end? Like, what do you want to do to attack it?
I'm using the piercing end. Yeah.
Okay, that
I'm glad
sets
you
off
asked
an
so I could
interesting.
clarify that.
It is, because that sets off an interesting roll here. Since you're not using the kind of blunt end of this,
No, I've been trying to pierce and cut.
it instead now becomes 2. So if you wouldn't mind adding one of those little glass baubles that we have over there right next to it. We'll leave the large mass there for now.
So it's 2 distinct creatures now?
It is now 2 distinct creatures.
You cut it in.
How's battle going over there?
When it divides, does the other creature have fairy fire on it still?
I would assume so.
Is it-
'Cause it's coming
Yeah,
out
I
of
mean,
the
it's like
same
it's the
mass.
same mass, so yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
it still has fairy fire on it, and you can see all this happening. It doesn't seem to be too phased by this. However, when you look at the crowbar, it is kind of sizzling. Something's eating away at this, and you, with a little splashback here, actually take 3 damage as some of this hits your exposed skin and is also sizzling away. You take 3 acid damage.
So, Dromar,
Yeah.
it appears that it would badly damage a weapon of
Yeah.
any sort.
I see that.
Yes.
Alexis, correct me if I'm wrong, but a magical weapon wouldn't be vulnerable to that, correct?
I can't tell you for sure because you guys don't know exactly what it's doing. What I can tell you is that magical weapons are immune to
Corrosion.
most corrosive effects.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's what I was asking. Yeah. Okay.
But I have a
well,
second
let me-
attack, so I'm going to attack. Are they both the same size?
No. One's a little bit smaller, one's a little bit larger, but you know, I'm trying to add a little bit of dramatic flair here. Effectively, what happened is that it split into 2,
Okay.
but not perfectly split.
So they're both smaller, though,
They're both smaller.
than the original.
We just won't change out the models.
Gotcha.
I, with what's left of the crowbar, whack the littlest one with my second attack.
Okay.
I think you have to move around.
Yeah, you'd have to move. You can stay within the hitbox of these things so they don't.
Oh, can you attack twice with the same weapon?
As a bonus
As a bonus action with a fighter,
with a fighter.
you can make a second bonus attack, yeah.
Okay, well, I
Nice.
will with my strength modifier and my improvised weaponness. Oh,
And you can roll with advantage because it has fairy fire.
well, it would have to be a major advantage. 19. 23.
And you're bludgeoning this time?
Are you bludgeoning it with like the blunt end of this, or are you slashing at it again with the piercing end?
How badly damaged is the piercing end? Is it still effective?
I mean, you kind of like went into it, went as you hit it, and took out a little bit of a chunk, and like the whole other end of this.
I'm going to bludgeon it this time.
You're gonna bludgeon it, okay?
Since I know what happens when you
Yeah.
slice at it.
Go ahead and roll for damage.
The D4.
Scientific method.
D4.
6.
All right.
6 bludgeoning damage on the little quivering blob of putridness.
As you hit it, it kind of shudders and is and a little gurgling noise kind of emerges from it, and it quakes around. Anything else you want to do?
Is that it?
There's more corrosion now on this.
On the crowbar. Yeah, the crowbar is. I dropped the crowbar because it's, burny.
Anything else you guys want to do here?
No.
Yulseth? You're up next, Dromar.
If I moved away, it would be a. Yeah.
You would have 2 attacks of opportunity on you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't do that?
Okay.
Don't do that.
Dromar, then you are
Here I am.
I wasn't sure. You're just like,
Ulseth is not provoking 2 attacks of opportunity
probably
by
smart.
turning his back on the quivering and sliced up blob of evil.
Dromar will go to the larger of the 2 blobs. Can I... Well, I guess I don't need to flank, because I already have advantage. So I will go up so that I am only by the bigger one.
Okay.
Yeah, there. Thank you. And Dromar will attack with his magical short sword of loyalty. And seeing what happens when you try to slice at them, he's going to use the broadside, the flat of his sword, and try to, bludgeon it.
All right.
Non-lethal damage.
Yeah, we want to question it.
We want to question the blob.
And you're using your enchanted weapon right now, yeah?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So that's going to be a 24.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Okay. Oh, snake eyes. Total of 7 damage.
Okay. Once again, you smack the side of this. Oh, I forgot to have you take some acid damage from that. You take 1 acid damage from your second attack there. Dromar,
Oh, him. I thought you were me.
you also take 1 acid damage as you smack the side of this thing, and a little bit of goo splashes off of you. It just kind of gurgles and anything else?
I agree, it is gross.
Did it do anything to my sword?
It doesn't seem to have.
Excellent. Well, unfortunately, I, unlike Ulseth, if I want a second attack, I believe it has to be with my second weapon. But fortunately, I've got a couple of extra short swords, so I'm going to just attack with one of them, one of the non-magical short swords.
All right.
And that's going to be a 17.
That hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
4.
Okay. Yeah, when you pull your blade out, is do you kind of smack it on its top side? You take this time 2 acidic damage as a little bit more splashes out on you.
Stop
And
it!
it kind of bubbles.
Stop
and,
doing it!
No!
That'll be Dromar's turn.
And your sword, the second one, starts to sizzle and hiss, and it looks like it is being corroded away by this.
Behave yourself, sword!
And now that brings up its turn.
Uh-oh.
Well, turns now that there are 2 of them. The sort of, original one is gonna move itself, slime just a little bit closer to Dromar, and sort of throws its whole body at you.
Get away! Get away! No!
What's your AC?
Bad touch!
17.
Okay.
This is not respectful distancing.
As
No,
it,
it's not.
as it lurches its amorphous form at you, just you deftly dodge back, and it avoids that. The second one does the same thing, moves a little bit closer to Ulseth, And what is your AC?
15.
Okay. It lunges at you and
That is disgusting.
it seems to have misjudged this a little bit. And it kind of throws itself and just sort of lands in like a little bit of a puddly splash at your feet. It went a little early. They're not the brightest, apparently.
Has it landed in liquid yet?
They've been moving through various little
liquids?
puddles.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it merged up from a sluice way, so.
Yeah.
Now, Soria, it is your turn. Nines, you are
Okay.
up next.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can I drop something as a bonus action?
Yeah, what do you mean by, you just want to drop an item?
I was gonna walk over a little and sort of drop my scimitar over near Ulseth so he could use that instead of his weapon. Just like pull it out and drop it on the ground.
Is your scimitar, like, packed away?
It's just in a sheath.
Okay.
So you'd have to draw it,
Yeah.
it though, right?
I'd say you'd, just like if you were drawing a weapon normally, that would take a standard action, but you could certainly drop it using a bonus action, if that's what you want to do.
So I can just drop it as a bonus action? Or I have to do a standard and bonus?
It depends on, if you just wanted to drop it in the sheath and everything, then you could
Okay.
do that, but it would be unsheathing, just like if you were, taking out a weapon in combat, that takes a standard action.
I'm gonna
So with this.
move across over here then and try and use my Thorn Whip on the bigger black one.
What type of damage does that deal?
Piercing.
Piercing. Okay, go ahead.
So I pull out my little rose branch and
Guidance.
extend it out. This is an attack.
Guidance. Inspiration.
Well, okay. That is a 26.
That definitely hits.
Yeah, Dromar's gonna get an attack of opportunity.
And it drags, well, it does
If it moves.
5 piercing damage, and it should, according to Thorn Whip, move it 10 feet towards me.
How much piercing damage did you say?
5.
5. Okay, and are you doing it on the one closer to Dromar, the one closer to Ulsa?
The one closer to Dromar.
Okay, the one closer to Dromar, as you grab onto it and pull your thorn whip sort of through its mass, you actually pull out like a bunch of garbage along with it, and the thing just sort of dissipates. It just,
The
Yeah.
bigger one? Oh, it's dead.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh.
That just sort of dissipates now.
Good job, Soria.
Anything else you want to do on your turn?
I'll take another step back. I think I have one more movement.
Okay. Nines, it's your turn. Ulseth, you're up next.
So I've heard all of this commotion. I peek my head around the corner.
I'll say you
Notice
can.
that all my teammates are still trying to kill this amorphous blob.
I'll say that you don't need to use movement. You're just kind of standing there, and you're like, huh?
I see that there's one left, and I am going to use Vicious Mockery on it.
All right.
No, even though bigger one is dead, you'll never overshadow it. It's always going to be better than you.
What?
Your mother will never be as proud of you as the other one.
At this, there's a little bit of a. Go ahead and roll for damage.
I failed it save.
1 damage.
1 second.
Apparently, you can insult a bunch of ooze. It doesn't do much to it, though. I guess is the lesson here. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
No. No, they seem to got us in the bag. I don't need to inspire anyone.
Fair enough. Ulseth, it's your turn. Dromar, you're
Such
up
a
next.
good bard.
I only can inspire 4 people a day. I have to be very selective of who I inspire.
Well, I have no weapons that I can use, but I have noticed, Dromar, that if the internal objects are extracted, that it loses its life form. Can you think of any way? I do. I think of a way.
Thank you for narrating it.
I suddenly have an insight. I take my rope.
Wolseth is like, I don't know, the fight scenes with Wolseth. Just like, let me tell you about my internal monologue.
Oh, whatever. Just take the thing, Olseth.
I take my rope and attempt to loop it over the top of it
Okay.
and pull through it.
Okay. I'm trying to reason out like what I want you to roll there. Let's do an attack roll. You can roll with advantage.
It's still fairy fired. No?
It's still fairy fired. Because of the nature of what you're trying to do, I'm not gonna have you add any modifiers, good or bad, to it. You're just trying to do this thing and basically like crappy lasso it.
I'm wondering if the rope survives this.
We'll find out.
You'll find out. So go ahead
Yeah.
and
I
make
might
a
have
roll.
to buy more rope.
The next room, there's like a witch who's like, bring me 120 feet of rope.
I've got 100 feet of rope. I more meant, like, not is it going to survive the entire encounter? Like, will it make it enough through that it'll be able to pull the stuff out?
We'll find out.
You'll find out.
Yeah, yeah.
19.
You managed to get the rope kind of on the other side of it. It's now it came to rest on top and it's moving into it, and you can see that it's being eaten away fairly quickly, but there's still rope there. And if you want to use your bonus action to make the attack to like pull it through, is what you're
That's
trying
what
to
I
do?
was attempting to do,
Okay,
was pull it through.
we'll call that the bonus action attack here to pull this rope back through. Go ahead and make another attack roll with advantage. It's still fairy fired.
Well, they're both the same. How weird. 14.
Okay, you managed to pull this thing through, and I'm gonna say roll a D4 for damage, and you can add your strength to this one.
I'm attempting to snag stuff from the inside, pull it out.
Yeah, I get the idea of what you're doing.
Strength added? Oh, 8.
Okay. Oh, you rolled really well on that one.
Yeah.
As you
Improvise.
As you pull this rope through, it's a little bit of a tough story. And you manage to pull this rope through. As you do, it pulls a bunch of gooey, messy stuff out from the middle of it. And
Dromar, I have succeeded in snagging some of its sludgy things.
Oh, good job, Wolseth. It's probably not a great idea that you're talking and opening your mouth while you're pulling all this goo towards you, but whatever.
Thank you for the hygiene lesson, Dromar. I will keep that in mind.
you take 1 acid damage from this maneuver and pulling some back on you, but it pulls enough of this crap out that when you are finished, it just sort of dissipates and oozes out over the floor, not forming anything new. The fairy fire effect dissipates, and this pile of refuse and just the worst smelling stuff ever remains and is slowly being washed away in the sluice. And your rope now
we know why the lake is so
2
great.
pieces of rope. It has lost this, and you now have 2 20, because it was a 50-foot rope, right? You now have 2 22-foot segments of rope
With frayed ends.
with frayed ends. Yeah.
Are we out of combat?
You are out of combat now.
I would like
Dromar, that seems to have succeeded despite...
Good job, Wolseth. I'm
like
not
to
sure why you're
immediately
suddenly narrating all your
go
actions
over.
to Dromar, but
Because you are there.
I'd like to immediately go over and just not touching anything, but look through all this detritus that was in it and see if there's anything in like pristine condition. Because if it had something magic in it, then
I'll assist you. I'll poke through with my magic weapon since that seems to be immune.
Okay.
Because if there's something magic inside of it, it wouldn't have corroded like everything else.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an investigation check in this.
And guidance.
Does she get advantage because I'm assisting her?
Sure, you can roll with advantage.
Natural 20 plus 4 and 3.
Nice.
27 total.
Nice.
You don't find any items that haven't been damaged in here. There's no like magical swords or pendants or anything like that. But there is a little bit of gold that you find. And the gold seems to be immune to this particular corrosive effect.
I'll point it out to Dromar so you can scrape them out.
I will do so.
You find 5 gold.
Fucking
Divides
5 gold.
evenly.
Of course.
I mean, for perspective, someone once did the math on this, and a copper is about $3. $3 is about what a copper is worth. So that puts a gold at $300. And
Oh, no,
five
I didn't mean
100.
I'm unhappy about the amount. I'm unhappy that it's not divisible by 4.
Oh, well. You know, them's the breaks.
Dromar will make change.
You guys can figure that out whenever you feel like. That seems to have dissipated the ooze, and like I said, you're out of combat. So where would you like to go now?
How are you two feeling?
I'm about a 10 out of 13.
All
right,
three
I've got those
of
3 good berries.
the others, other than Sorry, I've taken some damage in this dungeon so far.
Also, everybody take a total of 1 gold and
2 silver and
silver.
5 copper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well done. Well divided.
All right. Do we want to go the way Nines is hiding, or do we want to go the other way, which would be back in north?
Yeah, I guess let's go the way Nines is hiding.
I'm gonna eat my 3 good berries while we're walking.
Yeah, you might as well use them.
Yeah.
Also, how much damage you take again? In numeric terms?
Roughly speaking, I am at 2/3 of what I was before I began.
All I gotta say is that was not a sewer beaver.
No, unless sewer beavers are really weird.
And gooey.
Which direction did you say you guys wanted to
The
go?
way Nines was hiding down in the southwest.
I'm going to do second wind
All right.
because damage. Okay, I get 4 back.
Okay.
All right.
So you head out that other entrance here?
Yeah, the southwest corner.
Okay.
Same.
Like I
marching
narrated
order.
before,
Yeah,
there's
Dromar and
a fairly
Pigeon.
quick bend down to the south now. You follow this sluiceway, making your way southward. And then it bends back westward after several hundred yards of traveling. You travel about half the distance now again, and it bends once more back southward and empties quickly into a T-junction of sluiceway. You can continue southward, or you can make a turn and go westward. You do hear from the south some sort of kind of dripping noises and a little bit of an echo that gives you this sign that there's a fairly close by open area, like a room or something.
Well,
It just sounds a little different over there.
if I'm drawing my map right, the southwards way might come out to the other side of that first barred area that we went to.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't we try that then?
Yes.
So you're heading down the
Have
southern
we-
path?
Yeah. Have
Okay.
we seen any ladders so far? Because I know they gave us a
Nope.
number for a ladder, so we haven't seen any. Okay.
No, you haven't seen any to this point.
Okay.
as you enter this room, which is just around a corner, probably about 10 yards around the corner there.
Going south from the T-junction.
Going south, it turns quickly, banking back east now, and there's a large platform. This, unlike the other side of the bars, which as you move further into this room, you can see, you recognize the other area. You can kind of see the chipped away bits, and you pay close enough attention, you'd even be able to find Ulseth's attempt at breaking through. This platform is a little bit different. The entirety of the platform has a series of smaller, looking like less sturdy bars and some kind of woven metal like fencing. Think of it as something similar to a chain link fence. Not quite like a chain link, but similar to it in its effect.
And this is like in the room?
Yeah, it's on the southern side of the room. So as you enter this, it would be on your right side. And this platform...
I thought we were coming in from the north. I'm confused.
Yeah, you are coming in from the north,
Okay.
down, and then as you enter this room, because it banks back towards the east, this platform would be on your right side.
Okay.
And it's on the south side of this room.
Okay.
Make sense?
And this is this room we were in before, but it's like been divided in half with these bars.
The other room was more of a chipped away, gnarled up area
Of the tunnel.
of the tunnel.
Okay.
And there were just bars blocking
This room that
this
we're in
room
now.
that you're
Got it.
now seeing. Behind these fenced areas, there's a whole bunch of piping and concrete, like preformed concrete pieces kind of stacked on each other. And there's a clear gate that has a padlock over it. It looks like, and just kind of a quick summary, this is probably some sort of large equipment supply. So replacement pieces for some concrete tiles, piping and tubing and stuff like that. It looks to be very utilitarian.
Dromar is going to go up to it and check for traps.
All right, go ahead and make an investigation check. Is there any particular area you want to look for traps in?
I want to check the lock, check the like frame of the door, the hinges, see if there's anything. I'm gonna try to lockpick it and get into it. So I just want to make sure like there's nothing that would be set off by me trying to do so.
Maintenance people
Sure.
regularly set like fire jets and stuff around there.
I mean,
sheds.
you obviously have hung out with maintenance people because they definitely do that. Yeah.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 19.
Okay. You make a pretty thorough examination of the fenced off area and the lock and things. There's nothing to give you any sign that they are in any way trapped. You sense that this is just to kind of keep whatever's down here mostly out from this area and make it slightly harder if someone wanted to pilfer these materials.
Oh, so the lock is on the fenced-in area? It's
Yeah,
so we can
so-
see everything that's inside of it?
Yeah, sorry if I didn't explain that clearly. You can see right through the
that's
fence
okay.
and you see all these things. Like I said, it's like chain link, and there's kind of a dual doored gate with a padlock over just like a small length of chain that's holding the two of them together. Pretty simple stuff.
Imagine what it could do
okay.
if they have some of those fire bars in there, though.
Yeah, I'll still take a look. That's a good idea, Soria.
I'll give you guidance.
Thank you.
I'm gonna attempt to pick the lock, and that's cocked. That is very terrible. Let's roll the guidance, see if that helps.
It has to help at least a little.
I mean, yes, it does.
It's going
have
to do
help.
something.
So lock picking is proficiency plus dexterity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. 16 altogether.
Okay.
I got a 4 on the guidance, so that helped.
You managed to pick the padlock pretty easily. It's hardly difficult for you, having a lot of experience in breaking into places. this lock is simplistic. It opens up and you just let it hang on the chain and open the doors. And I'm guessing you then go inside this kind of caged off area.
Yes.
Okay. When you go in there, you find kind of more of what you could see at a cursory glance through the fencing. There's, concrete piping and slabs and a lot of preformed structures here that could all, you notice, fit through this gated area and through the sluiceways and piping that you've been through. It just seems to be a lot of utilitarian kind of pieces.
No enchanted fire bars.
None that Dromar can see. I mean, there's plenty of bars. There's like a whole rack of replacement steel bars.
Dromar
But
will say to Nines,
Hey, Nines, you want to come touch each one of these bars, see if any of them are enchanted?
I could also, I'll go up and look at them and see if I can notice any sort of enchantment, like runes or
could
anything.
you just do like a Professor X, like?
No, I was adjusting my earpiece.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm doing it. I'm using my knowledge and arcana to look for enchantments on any of these bars.
You're using Cerebro to find other enchanted bars.
I'm the only one here with I'm Professor Zoria, not Xavier.
Professor Soria.
You are Maggie.
I know I'm Maggie right now, but
So you're making an
she
Arcana check?
briefly shape changes into
just bald Maggie.
yeah.
Go ahead and make a Arcana check.
With guidance.
With guidance.
This is me casting guidance.
Guidance.
Oh no. 10 total.
Oh no. Nothing. Everything here looks very mundane. Nah, you don't see anything that would be enchanted.
We can't make you a giant flaming bat.
Just to make sure, Dromar's gonna just like wipe his hand along, touching each of the bars.
Okay. To accomplish that, you kind of go to the end of, because they're held out on these racks. They kind of stick out from the wall, and they're all piled up on top of each other. So you go to the end, and you're feeling just the ends of these bars, and kind of running your hand over the end of all of them. Other than getting a bunch of rusty bits all over your hands, you don't have any ill effect. You don't see any of them as being enchanted with fire, so...
Okay.
I like how we're purposely going out of our way to try to hurt ourselves.
I mean, usually the players are thinking very conspiratorially about what the DM is trying to kill them with, whereas I've laid out a perfectly normal room, and you guys are actively trying to kill yourselves with it. This is...
Dromar is going to take one of the bars out and just start hitting himself on the head. He doesn't really do that.
So the only way to go...
Party.
Before you leave the
Why
room,
did the
though,
DM do this to me?
Ulseth asks, Dromar,
Yes, Ulseth.
did you happen to find perhaps a crowbar or rope in the storage area?
Did I perhaps find a crowbar or rope in the storage area?
Well, I'll roll for it.
I am looking for replacement parts.
You could use a giant metal bar.
Yeah, actually, you don't find a new rope, but you do find a new crowbar. It's a
Is
pretty
there
nice
perhaps
one.
a short sword in there?
There is not a short sword.
A short sword of trust, perhaps.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a crowbar. Here you go, Ulseth.
And I will bring him out the crowbar.
The short sword of trust, you just
This
hold
one-
it to the
Thank
person's
you.
back and say, fall.
One never knows when one may need a crowbar.
Cool, Seth. Since you've used these in combat, I will make the ruling here. Now, this one is a little bit larger. It's one of those larger crowbars,
Oh, large. Okay.
and it's not like the kind of 2 foot long kind of segments. This is like a 3.5 foot long segment. So this is one of those big crowbars that you get a lot of leverage with.
This is a
And-
combat crowbar.
And this can
warriors.
So if you decide to use this in
Trust.
combat, this can deal 1d6 damage.
This actually has spikes on it.
It is
It has a flamethrower on
It's
the
a
end.
half-life special.
It's a Half-Life special, sure. You You don't have any training with this, so it's still an improvised weapon, but it deals slightly more than the smaller ones.
A little one.
We'll call this.
Training
This is
montage
your
time also.
Raven.
This is a mighty fine crowbar. Thank you, Dromar.
All right.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
So, from my understanding, there's no other way out. We'd have to backtrack and.
Yeah.
Okay.
In this room, there is no other way out. You have to go back to that T-junction to go to any other place.
Has Ulseth run out of chalk? Or is he still fine?
I have 2 more
Let's
pieces of
track
chalk.
that too.
In creating his character, he was fairly precise about, I want to carry a lot of chalk. So, he does.
Yeah, have I used
Ulseth
up my
is a
first
former
piece?
teacher.
I'll say that you've been fairly conservative instead of like just dragging it along. Because what I'm envisioning
Making
there,
all
so
of the memories, making all of the memories sad
yeah,
as I go.
I'm picturing sadness inside out. You're just kind of marking, making a little arrow about every 15
I make
feet or so.
discrete 4.5-inch long marks.
You've used about half of one of your
very
pieces at this
precise.
point.
Yeah.
You're not.
In fact,
you're
we're
not sad
going
missing
through
it.
this sewer very slowly because each time Ulseth is taking out a
60,
ruler.
60,
And he's like,
65
Gotta get
centimeters.
this
He has,
just right.
he has a stencil that he prepared. It's fine.
Okay.
So he did draw like him trying to pry open the bar. Did he in the other room draw us fighting monsters and like my hands on fire?
He drew a little sad face with ears next to the bar.
A little crowbar with a gravestone.
with a hand with little flames on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go west down this T-junction then, or do we want to backtrack a ways?
Oh, yeah, let's go west.
Okay.
Okay. From the T-junction, you travel another, like, probably about 300 yards. And you find yourself in yet one more T-junction. You can continue westward. It goes beyond your visibility, so you can't see what's down there. It kind of fades into blackness. You can also go northward. From the northern passage, you hear the distinct sounds of rapidly rushing water coming from the northern pathway.
Let's keep going west.
Okay.
Okay. You travel 50 or so yards down the western pathway, and you run into another set of bars, like you've seen before.
People must really like to drink down here. There's all these bars. And they're always in sets, too. There's never just, like, one bar. It's always, like, a whole bunch of bars.
Drama, you realize people just don't drink in metal bars, correct?
What? This is news to me.
All of these bars are the same as the other impenetrable. We can't get through these bars. We might as well just turn around and go the other way bars.
At a cursory glance, sure.
Yes, but now we have a much better crowbar.
Nines, touch these bars.
No.
Dromar will, like, just sort of accidentally push nines into the bar.
I'm saying far away from the bars. I don't know how he's going to accidentally push me into that.
As he attempts to do that, he discovers that Nines is not actually there. And pushes
It was
his
just an
hands into the-
illusion of nines, and
In
he
his
falls into the
mind.
bars.
So, are we heading north then?
Sure.
Okay. These
Onward
bars
and
are going to
upward.
tear our party apart.
I'll head northward.
Okay. You enter into the largest room that you've seen. To your left as you enter, which is the west side of this room, there's almost the entire length of the room from the southern to northern end of it is grating. And water is rushing down over, and behind that grating is a wall. So that's the end of that room. And there's a lot of water throwing through this like quadruple wide sluiceway. Yeah, that's in this room. So this is a very large area handling a lot of water, and there's piles of rubbish forming up around this grating structure. So It's catching all the twigs and leaves and pieces of paper and parchment and stuff that seems to wash down from the streets. You hear the sound, although you cannot see its source, of rushing water off eastward down the room where it fades into some blackness, going beyond your field of vision. And you see the water sort of slowing down a little bit. It's running faster the more eastward that you go towards that sound of rushing water. But it slows down a little bit, and you can see it's flowing more evenly the closer it gets to where you're standing. That grating is only about 10 yards to your left as you enter. And that's what you can see right now.
This room is very grating and filled with rubbish. Is this your home?
I'm gonna hit him back with a no you.
Well, let's check out this room a little.
Check out the room.
Can we go across? Is there any platform, or is it all?
From your visibility range, you can't see the other side of the room very clearly. You can just barely make out kind of the far wall straight ahead of you as you enter. So this room is quite wide.
How deep is the water? Can we cross through it?
You're standing...
Because we know that only a few inches of rushing water is enough to
No,
float
it really
down.
is.
Yeah.
It can, I think, 6 inches can move a whole car.
Yeah. Be aware
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
those of you who are watching. Do
So-
not
I've actually seen
go
that
through
happen.
rushing water.
So you're standing in the sluiceway that you came in, and the water is sort of rushing in towards this area from where you're standing. You don't know how deep that other channel is, that larger quadruple wide channel.
Where exactly is the grating in relation to us and in relation to the channel?
The grating is right at the end of the channel. It's to your left, which is the west side of the room. It runs the length north to south of this room with only like 6 inches on one side that you can see. Room between it and the wall. And it basically runs that whole length, and it's about 10 yards to your left.
And that's just where the water is passing through, basically.
The water is like cascading over and down through the grating, and there's a bunch of rubbish that's sort of piling up on the top of the grating. Imagine this is like a giant sieve. So it's catching everything, like all the large debris, and allowing the water to continue downward.
Oh, I try and go across?
Yep, that's what I was thinking too. Should we, I can hook up the rope so we can try to go across one at a time, and we can use my climbing kit and sort of rig it up so we don't get swept along.
How far wide did you say this was? I'm sorry.
The whole room is
The sluice, sorry.
the sluice leaves about 5 feet of a walkway on either side of it, and it's about
there's a walkway.
there's a little walkway on either side of it, not over the sluice in anything that you can see. So there's not like a walkway over the sluice, but there's a little channel of walkable area on each side. You can see it just to your left and right, and then you can just get the hint of it on the far side of the room, because the room's about 60 feet wide from its northern to southern end here.
So the sluice is like 40 feet.
Yeah, it's like a 40-foot wide sluiceway. There's a ton of water flowing through this.
Well, let's go along the walkway on this side and just see what we can see in the rest of this room, maybe.
Ulseth, actually not Ulseth. Nines, why don't you make an insight check on this?
Ooh, I like insight checks. Wait, no. Yes, I do. Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
did.
wisdom, not intelligence.
I got a 6 because I can't roll today.
But I cast guidance.
Oh, in that case, I
Yeah.
have a 7.
Yeah.
An 8.
All right. It doesn't... Nines, you kind of get the idea that maybe you are... Because you, unfortunately, your life kind of living out in the streets for a while now, you sort of pay attention to water flow to find a nice place to rest before you met up with this group. You get the idea that this might be one of the main drainage areas of a city. This might be where a whole bunch of storm drains on a major thoroughfare are collecting, and it's like handling channel underneath the ground. So you think you might be somewhere towards one of the major causeways of the city above.
I relay that information, even though no one asked.
Maybe there's like,
Cool.
maybe people dropped like some cool stuff and it got washed down here.
So
We can check.
Yeah, Stromar should go in there and find out.
how long were the steel rods that we saw back in the storeroom?
Those are just bars.
So like basically what you're asking is how long were all of these potential replacements for the steel bars that have been blocking your way repeatedly?
How long is the longest one there?
They were all about 10-foot lengths.
Oh, really? They're that long?
Yeah, they're a fairly long piece of bar. The tunnels themselves are 8 foot from floor to ceiling.
Do we think
And
that
Ulseth, you just kind of barely have been fitting down a lot of these channels here.
I'm not saying anything about, gee, as I have been walking along these tunnels, I have almost hit my head several times against the ceiling. I wouldn't say that.
No, definitely wouldn't even bring it up.
Do you want to check
Droma.
all that detritus and see if there's anything like magic or expensive? And
I'm going to go back and get one of the longest bar there. Maybe there's one that's maybe 15 feet long.
They're all pretty uniform. You only saw the one rack.
And is there anything else in there that's like a bar like that?
I mean, they're basically all the same iron bars. What are you trying to accomplish?
Well,
He's gonna go pole vaulting.
exactly.
why don't we just walk along the pathway to our left and go across the drain where the water's gonna be going down, and it won't like carry us that far, and just go up and around.
Well, as the water's going out, does it go out through another fence or anything, or is it?
I
just
thought it was going to a grate where it was dropping lower.
Yeah, it hits this grate, and then it just like it's open beneath that grate as far as you can tell. It seems to just fall down.
So couldn't we just walk along the grate, along the outside
okay,
edge?
I didn't catch that. So it doesn't flow out of the room; it flows down.
Yeah, that grating, it allows the water to go down through it. So, like I said,
well,
it's like
yeah.
a sieve.
I
It's
also
catching all
misunderstood.
of the stuff, like the
Yeah.
large debris, and then allows the water to continue, less impeded
Like
down.
like
Okay.
the drain room
And
we
yeah,
saw
I'll go-
before.
I'll do what Soria wanted,
yeah.
and I'll go up and investigate the grate and see if there's anything interesting there.
With guidance.
Okay.
Yeah. Um. 25.
You're sort of like looking through the muck on the edge. Are you like going out on the grate at all, or are you staying on the edge of it?
Yeah. No, I'll go out on it. If I'll like test it first to make sure I don't think it's gonna like collapse or anything.
The grate has a little bit of a give to it, but not a lot. It bows underneath you a little bit as you walk, but you don't get the sense that it'd be dangerous. It is a little slippery. The bars that make this grating are slimy from all the water and stuff running over it, and it's a little bit of a trick to walk on. And
Good thing
kind
I'm wearing my climbing shoes.
So you're digging around in this stuff, and lo and behold, you find something that I'll tell you about when we get back from break.
Oh.
A snack.
You find a snack. Well done. So we're going to take a few-minute break, everybody. We will be back in just a bit. Get yourself something to drink, use the bathroom, take your dog out to pee. That's what I'm going to do. And
All of
we'll
this
see,
is
day.
fine.
we'll see you in just a moment. Thanks. we're back, everybody. So when we left off, the group was in a very large, fast-moving area of water, and Dromar was poking around in the refuse over a drainage grate, and you had just found something.
I found something!
In moving some stuff around.
Oh, great.
Evidence!
Dromar, what is it?
You see a little, it's off a ways. You haven't touched it. You're not quite near it. It's about 10 feet off from you yet, but you see a little glint of something that looks like gold.
I will go up to it and
Gimme.
and look at it
Nothing bad
closely
will happen
before I
here.
pick it up.
Okay. Make a dexterity check.
I think I did
Okay.
give you guidance on your way out. I don't know if you used it or not, but... Did you use it for your
I-
investigation?
Maybe? I don't remember.
Long distance guidance.
If I remember correctly, you did use it on your investigation check.
Okay.
I
Sounds
seem to
good.
remember you doing that.
That's probable.
I think
yeah.
it doubled your score.
Well, that was a nat 1.
Oh no.
That is unfortunate.
Down to the sea.
Do I get advantage because
Like-
I'm wearing my climbing shoes?
You do not get advantage for your climbing shoes on this. You're trying to grab this object. That's what you were making the
No,
dexterity.
I said I was going to
Looking
look
at it
at
closely.
it
Going
before
over
you're-
to
I
it.
touched it.
Okay.
Yeah. I did specifically say
no,
that
you're
I
right.
wasn't
You are
gonna
right.
touch it.
Investigation check.
That's right.
All right.
Dromar doesn't
So you
touch
get-
anything. He has 9s touch
Okay.
things for it.
So don't worry about that
Yeah.
dexterity roll here.
Okay. That natural 1 doesn't exist.
I stand corrected. You did say that you were going to look at it.
Good lying on your natural ones when they don't matter and saving all your nat 20s for when they do.
So you
Using the kidneys.
The thought
you get
bladder.
closer to this object, and it appears to be a gold necklace of some sort. You see a fragment of it, not all of it, but the little bit that you do see is the backing to kind of some dangling element. It's just the backing of it, so you can't see the whole thing. There's a lot of rubbish covering it.
It's that diamond necklace from
I'm
Titanic.
going to take my magical
That's where it
sword
ended up.
and I'm going to try to fish it out, like poking the sword through the chain part of the necklace or whatever the neck part is made out of and try to pick it up that way.
So you're poking the rubbish with your sword.
Yeah, I'm trying to poke through the rubbish to get
Okay.
the necklace out of there.
Sure.
So reach for the dangly bits.
Now roll a dexterity check with this.
If he gets a 20, we know.
I did actually get a 20. I did actually get a 20.
We're gonna have to get the camera over your dice tray.
Yeah, we
The
talked
chat
about
is
it.
going to be
now.
filled with conspiracy theories about you now.
These dice.
I was just
what
looking at it.
theories? What
Okay, I'm trying to get it now. Nat 20.
I did specifically say before you had me roll the last one that I wasn't touching it. That I
Yes.
was just looking at it.
These dice come from the Thieves Guild.
Yes, obviously.
Are these the same
And they
dice that
get
you got
theirs
from Geekified?
Geekified.
Yeah, these are the same. This is the same die.
So everybody,
Same D20.
dice from Geekified, they come loaded.
They roll 20s when you need them to, and 1s when it doesn't matter.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was a nat 20 plus. Is it saving throw or?
No, this is a check.
Okay,
You rolled a
then it's
nat
a-
20 on this. You succeed.
Sounds good.
So
No, sounds suspicious.
you managed to. Well, I can't see the tray, so I can't really find it. You managed to fish out this necklace, kind of balancing what turns out to be a gemstone that is set into sort of locket piece on the sword, and the chain just barely manages to hang on because it's loose. It fell off somebody's neck. The chain is broken. But you do manage to get the whole piece back, and you now have a golden necklace with a nice jewel set into it.
What color jewel?
At first glance, it appears to be a a small but nice, very nice looking ruby.
Is that magical?
You'll never know.
I wouldn't know, but I actually was going to roll an Arcana check to see, before I touch it with my hand, to see if it, like...
Oh, what, you don't
It's
just want to
magical.
grab random objects? Like something bad might happen?
That maybe have a glow about them or something.
So, I rolled a 11 on my Arcana check.
Okay. You don't see anything within the necklace or with the jewel or anything else about this piece that gives you any idea it is magical. It seems to simply be a very nice gold necklace with a jewel pendant.
And you probably know how much that's worth, right?
I probably have a pretty good idea how much it's worth.
You know that this is, you're in the sewers in fairly poor light. You can't make a very good appraisal of it, but you have a feeling that this is worth at least a few hundred gold, just based on the materials. It's a gold necklace with a jewel in it. That's going to be a little bit of value to it.
Very nice, very nice.
Is there like a conversion chart on the back of your Thieves Guild card?
Yes. Dromar will put it securely into one of his pouches. And did I search through all of the rubbish there, or is there more to search through?
From the grate here, you've searched pretty thoroughly through this rubbish.
Okay.
Jomar.
Then in that...
Yeah.
That was beautiful. It is a truly top pocket find.
I knew that was
Oh,
coming.
yes. I agree. Well, we'll see about selling it when we get back to town.
That is a joke for the viewers of the History Channel, so our over 70 demographic.
So I guess we'll just keep walking, right? That's what we were doing before. I was searching this, and then we were going to walk across.
We were going to walk around and try and get a gauge on this full size of this room.
So I will continue walking.
Can I ask this? We came in from the south.
Yep.
And if we look to our left, there's this grate that goes the entire thing of the room.
Yep.
Through which filthy water is pouring.
Yes.
And that's what I'm standing
But if
on
we
right
go
now.
to our right, all that now cleaned water falls into the hole.
I think the water's coming from our right to the grate.
Yes.
To the left.
The water's rushing down from your right as you entered,
Oh, I had it
down the
backwards.
channel, and falling into this grating. Presumably
left
to
side.
a lower...
Okay, so the grating isn't the wall when the
It's the
water's
floor.
rushing through it. The grate's on the floor.
The grate's on the floor. Yes.
Got it. Thank you for that. I had it
No,
very much
I mean,
reversed.
as a reminder to everybody, if there's ever anything that I'm describing that you're like, okay, I want to double check that, please ask, because I will never be able to describe something perfectly the first time, so please ask for any
Why
clarifications
not?
you want.
Get it
So-
together.
Before.
So we should be able to walk.
Sorry.
Is there space between the grate and the far left wall?
No,
There's about
Oh.
around the edges of the grate on all sides of it, save for the side that's exposed to all the running water rushing up. There's about 6 inches of
okay. So we have to walk on the
hard.
grate.
You'd have to walk on the grate. You could probably have a foot on the more solid element, but effectively
I
have to
would,
walk on the grate.
I would recommend that we walk across the grate one at a time, because as you can see, I'm successfully walking on it, but it does have a little bit of give to it, so I wouldn't put too much weight on it at once. So why don't you wait until I get across, and then whoever wants to go next can come on over.
You do that, and if something eats you on the other side, let us know.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely do that, Ulsa. Thank you for the vote of confidence.
You are welcome.
Dromar will continue his way across the grate to the other side,
Okay.
and hopefully not get eaten by something.
I think we'll all take our time and go around the grate to the other side.
Ulset's weighing 3 times more than anybody else does. Very, very carefully edges along the wall side of the grate, trying to keep as much weight as possible on the 6 inches of solid and as little as possible on the grate.
Okay. For Nines and Soria, you follow a similar path to Dromar. The grating gives a little bit more under each of you, being heavier than Dromar. and you see a little bit more
Well,
balding.
I'll turn into a kobold just to walk across and then change back.
No.
I mean, you can.
A
I
large
You can
kobold.
do that. You change.
Somehow I do actually adjust my weight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
so it must be
changeling
magic.
nonsense. That's how. It's the throwaway changeling stuff changes your weight somehow. They have the ability to actually change their mass,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy.
I give off
Changelings are non-Newtonian.
whenever I
Non-Newtonian physics.
whenever I shapeshift, the mass change comes off as heat energy and just shoots a fire wave around me.
Oh, sorry, you're so
Obliterating
hot.
the entire
When you
planet. not
add
just-
mass, it like flash
Freezes everything, but when I drop mass, it comes out in a flame. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just the
Makes
thing
sense.
we do.
So now that we've
You are
explained the
constantly needing
physics,
new clothes.
now that we've explained the physics behind changelings, you two managed
That's
to
why they're
cross
the most
successfully.
powerful race in the game.
Exactly.
Well, Seth, since you're attempting something a
Careful.
little bit more careful and slightly more challenging than the other two, I want you to make an athletics check.
Guidance.
Do you need to be inspired?
Yes. 14.
You make a couple of stumbles as you cross this, and for a moment, you kind of go down on one knee as you get a little slippery footing, but you make
And
it
the grating
across
buckles
okay.
beneath you and you fall to your death.
You make it across okay.
all the
The grating
conservatives
seems
are
to have
whining.
held your weight. And considering like the volume of crap that's on top of this grating,
Oh.
it's not too surprising that it would be able to hold you up without too much trouble. Because it is holding up already probably hundreds and hundreds of pounds of just trash from the surface being washed down here. So you're okay. You stumble a little bit, but you make it across just fine.
And thank you for not saying anything about hundreds of pounds of trash.
I mean, you did that yourself.
Once you're on the other
Crowbar doesn't weigh
side,
hundreds of pounds.
Oh, no.
once you're on the other side, you
I
see
do.
that the architecture is mirrored over here. There's about a 5-foot safe walking way between the wall and the sluiceway on this side. And you can kind of inch your way down. And you also now see that there is a pathway, a sluiceway, on the north side. If you continue down that wall, probably about 15 yards, 20 yards down from where you're standing right now.
So the room's sort of a backwards L.
The room is sort of a backwards L. What you're making out here. And this sluiceway is small. This is a smaller one. It's only about like 8, maybe 10 feet wide. There's one of the channels you're kind of used to, and there's wall that continues on it.
I would like to do a perception check and see if I see Waluigi anywhere around.
You don't see Waluigi.
You don't know what I rolled.
I know that there's not a Waluigi here.
So
You'll
if we
think
go
that if you rolls a
down,
1, though.
if we continue
What
down
about-
that path, does
What
it come
about
to
with an
another?
11? Is there a Waluigi?
Are
There's
there,
no Waluigi.
have we seen any doors going down this way?
Any doors?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's been any way out other than the way we came.
Yeah, so that like little channel that I described that's about 5 foot. No, I'm sorry, not 5, like 8 to 10 foot. That's a way out. That continues northward. It's about 15 yards down from you, so it's a little offset from the way that you came in. It's offset more towards the east side of the room, and it goes up to the north. And the wall continues beyond that still.
Okay.
You still can't make out, it's too far away, the source of all this rushing water. You can hear it, you just can't see it.
So we either have to go back the way we came or we turn north and
Or
go
keep
up this
going down this
narrower.
room.
Yeah, you can keep going down this larger room.
Okay, that keeps going.
Why don't we check out this room fully before we move on?
Sounds good. Execute.
Execute.
Okay,
Make it so.
so you cross over the smaller 8-ish feet wide sluiceway and continue down the 5-foot wide pathway. Yeah, you get, I'd say about 30, 40 yards down this way. And then the source of all of this gushing, rushing water is made visible. There's a huge pipe that sits about 2 feet above the ground. And it comes straight down from the ceiling and sits about 2 feet above the sluiceway surface. And there's just water pouring out of this thing, creating these swirling water vortices around it, and it's just this bubbling, gushing mess.
Nines, put your
Taking
hand
up the
over
whole
there.
corner of this room. And as you get closer, you see that this sort of grating and structure and everything, it's mirrored. So you round the corner and the room continues northward in kind of a mirror of what you had been already traversing.
So there's only the one door out?
You think there might be a channel on the east side of the room near that grating, similar to where you originally entered this room from.
Okay, so it's
As
like mirrored.
this way. Yeah. I mean, when I say mirrored, I do mean this is very much mirrored from the other side.
Oh, I see. So this giant pipe is like
Splitting.
coming down and water goes both ways.
And water goes both ways, yeah. Yep.
Do we want to check the other grate for cool necklaces?
Yeah, of course.
I will go. Thank you. I will test the other grate to make sure that it's not going to collapse. And assuming I don't think it will, then I will go out onto it and start searching that grate.
Okay. As you step foot out there, make a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw. Can I use my guidance on saving throws?
No.
No, it's not an
No.
ability check.
Ability checks, not
Okay,
saves.
then it is a 10.
Well, in that case, you match it, so you succeed. You're
Hurrah!
at the threshold. You start to feel this sort of sucking sensation on your foot, and you pull your leg away and kind of jump back about half a foot real quick as little globules that don't look entirely dissimilar to what you saw earlier, but smaller, they start to form and pool together, and
It's another ooze monster. Get it.
I have a crowbar.
I will swat at it with my short sword of loyalty.
okay, as you take a swing, these goo monsters have now, as far as you can tell, fully formed. They're about the size of a dog each. So smaller, and not nearly as massive as the other, which was about 6 by 6 feet. It was a big old mess. And we will be heading back into combat here. So go ahead and roll for initiative.
Now, technically speaking, initiative is an ability check, so you can use that guidance.
And Nicole, if you wouldn't mind placing Dromar on kind of the far edge towards you.
Like there?
Yeah. And then you guys on the,
Or like...
yeah,
around
kind
here or
of back
somewhere.
there. And there are several little glass beads, which are going to be our globules. And place them,
How many?
4 of them total. And place them around, one near Dromar and the other 3 kind of dotting the sluice way farthest from you.
Almost working. There we go. Just in the sluice way randomly.
Yep. And then I need initiative results starting with Dromar first, please.
16, and I did use the guidance.
Okay. 9s.
17.
Dulceth.
10.
And Surya, when you are
Natural, or not natural, dirty 20.
dirty 20. Okay. Soria, you are up first. Nines, you're on deck. That is the layout here, so go ahead.
Okay, they're way too spread out. I should have clumped them all together into a 20-foot cube, but I didn't.
Way to go.
But I will, and I don't know if I want to spend my other spell slot here, so I'm going to just stay where I am for now and use Thorn Whip, pulling out my rose branch and whipping it around towards the one next to Dromar to yank it away from him.
All right, what number is that one?
Number 2.
Number 2, thank you. All right, what is your attack roll on that?
21.
That will hit, so go ahead and roll for damage.
And this is piercing. I don't know if it matters, but it did on the last one. 1 damage. But it is yanked 10 feet towards me.
All right, how much damage did you say?
1.
1. You managed to sort of get just the top of this thing with your Thorn Whip and pull it back towards you. This does give Dromar, I think, an attack of opportunity because it will leave your hitbox.
Nice. That's gonna be a 19.
That hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
Do I, since it's also engaged with Soria, do I get sneak attack?
I'm not melee engaged.
Yeah, you're not. She's not melee
Okay,
engaged.
even though
it's not quite to
you've
her.
got the whip. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not flanked right now.
Okay. 10. 10
Okay.
damage. I will, as it's yanked out of my way, I will say, "Take that!" and I'll just swat it with the side of my sword, my magic sword.
As you do that,
Stupid ooze.
you take a pretty.
They're not
that
that
was a pretty
stupid. They
impressive
resist
swing
psychic
for Dromar. I think that's near your peak damage right there, and you crash through this thing with the broadside of your blade, and it splatters everywhere, and just sort of dissipates. So
Nice.
it's gone. Go ahead and remove that one.
Nice. Yeah, I rolled a 5 on my d6, so
Yeah.
almost max damage.
I'm just gonna step back behind Elsa after that.
Okay. And then anything else you want to do?
I will. No, I used my action, so I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, Nines, you are up now. Dromar, you're on deck.
I'm going to use Vicious Mockery on the green one.
Okay.
Number 4.
What number is that? Thank you.
I just want to say, you're not nearly as hot as the last giant monster we fought.
You just beg all the monsters, huh?
If I remember, the saving throw is 14?
Yes, 14
Okay.
wisdom.
14 wisdom. Go ahead and roll for damage. It does not make that.
4 damage and disadvantage on his next attack roll.
All right. It gurgles a little bit, like, blah, 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 and it seems to shrink away, reacting to the insult, I guess.
This one has a lot
And
less
it-
self-confidence.
And it has taken some damage. Anything else you'd like to do on your turn?
I am going to inspire Ulseth.
All right.
Somehow.
I'll play you a drum solo.
And it reverberates
You're
in
now
here.
inspired!
Thank you, Dromar. I do feel inspired.
Wait!
Right, he gets credit for everything.
This is exactly why I did inspire him! Never been more insulted! What did I do to deserve this?
How much psychic damage does Nines take?
I have 7 hit points, so 7.
Oh no.
Killers.
No. So,
All right.
Anyway, I end my turn.
So that means
Actually, can I take my bardic inspiration back?
you cannot. Dromar, it is your turn. Ulseth, you're up next.
Dromar, feeling
uninspired.
very pseudo-inspired by basically by Ulseth putting 9s down. Is
Play people's music, get confused with small dwarf.
I'm not a dwarf. Is going to go to the closest ooze. I don't know what number that is.
The white one.
And is going to attack and get another 17.
That hits. So go ahead and roll for damage.
Ooh, that is max damage. That's gonna be 11.
All right. And which number was that?
Number 1.
Number 1.
Take that, number 1! Smack!
You take another heroic swing at this thing, and in I'm gonna say Super Smash Bros. Melee Ness home run style, swing, wind up, and it just sends a cloud of wet, gooey blobs out, and it's gone.
Wow,
Dromar
Nines. Wow, Nines.
gonna-
That was a tremendous blow. Congratulations.
No, Ulseth, you're getting this all wrong. Drummer does all the cool things. Just remember that.
Ulseth
Dromar-
is now naked on the whole group.
is going to then just walk through the space where the ooze used to be, up to the next ooze, I guess the red one, and take his other non-magical short sword, the one that's corroded a little bit already, and try to smack it with the broadside of that one.
Okay, go ahead.
And that is a 14.
That does hit, so go ahead and roll for damage.
Sweet. 3 damage.
All right.
Not as impressive.
Not as
That's
impressive.
still a solid swack to the
This
side
is
of
why
the
they
head.
call him Dromar, the Ooze Lord.
I did not know that,
that?
but it does
As you
make sense.
swipe your weapon through this thing, it takes a little bit more corrosion damage and now looks even worse than before, kind of sizzling and burning away. And you see the metal on it rusting, and a couple pieces are now falling off the blade. It's not nearly as sharp, and it's starting to disintegrate more. Anything else you want to
Acceptable
do?
loss. Nope. I will stand my ground against the ooze, and I will pass my turn.
All right, Ulseth, you are now up.
Yes.
Are you gonna ruin another crowbar?
This
So
is
these
a
things-
tactical crowbar.
This is rushing water here, right? These oozes are in the rushing water.
Yeah, they're in the rushing water. They're in the sluiceway, and for that matter, so is Dromar.
Is the rushing water carrying the oozes away?
It is not carrying the oozes away.
We are at the grate, so it's at the least rushing.
I see.
Yeah, this is kind of the slowest point that the water is
Do
moving.
we need to go out onto the grate to hit the ooze?
No, like they're in the sluiceway right now. They emerged from the grating.
I
and
see,
then-
but they're immune to the rushing water.
yeah.
Yes, I will ruin another crowbar. I move. I
That's
go
a
up.
nice crowbar.
This is a wonderful crowbar.
You wanna go to this one?
Yes, I'm going to go to that one.
All right.
With my newly acquired hefty crowbar, I swing mightily at the green slime.
All right. Go ahead. Roll
You
for
sound so
attack.
depressed.
Again,
I
you're
like
Like
that.
so attached to this
I
crowbar
like that
that you
crowbar
just got.
so much.
You named it.
I named it, and I will use my inspiration. Oh, that helped. 17. No, I don't get any extra, do I? No, I only-
no, you
Yeah,
don't
that's
get.
improvised.
You don't add any proficiency or anything with this.
or
'cause it's
strength or anything.
Nope.
11.
That does hit.
Ooh.
11 hits.
Ooh.
though.
Wow.
I mean, you
that's
guys
a-
are dealing with amorphous blobs.
Right. And you get,
They're
but
not very
Their
much armor.
AC isn't exactly, impressive.
you get
I
to add
do.
your
Well,
strength
if you
to
could
the
put
damage.
a number
though, right?
to it.
Do I add my strength to the damage?
You do add your strength to the damage roll.
Then I do 7 damage with this hefty crowbar.
All right. As you swing the crowbar down on the slime, you
Bludgeoning.
you kind of crush a whole bunch of like gross looking rotting things on the inside of it, and it goes and splurts out on either edge and is now dissipating, and some bits of it are now being washed away in the flowing waters. So that one is gone.
And since your crowbar went under the water, does it wash away all the acid and save your
It does.
beautiful
It
memory?
does not.
Oh.
How badly damaged is my crowbar?
I mean, it's rusting a bit. You can see the oxidation on it, and it's, sizzling a little bit.
Yeah, with a hefty
turns out
application
it was,
of an abrasive, can I like wipe that away?
Not in combat.
No, I mean,
So you just need Nines' personality.
we will attempt to revive my crowbar after combat.
It turns out the crowbar was actually sentient, and you hear in your mind a mental call, and it says, "Oh, Seth, why would you do this to me? I thought we were friends."
I
If
do
it
hear
were
that.
sentient,
I hear that.
magical and wouldn't take corrosion damage.
Yeah, I still wouldn't like it though.
Anything else you want to do on your turn?
No, that's enough.
Okay, very good.
You could move and attack the other one.
With
Then
what?
now
My
its
crowbar
turn is up.
again? I could.
Yeah, with your crowbar again.
With my other hand.
It is now the slime's turn.
Oh,
I
Since
thought you
yeah.
said
ended
you
your
could
turn.
attack twice with the same weapon.
He can, but
I
he
didn't.
said his turn is ended. He's done enough. So it is
Oh,
the
well.
slime's turn. I jump at the opportunity to keep combat moving, and this slime
You will be okay, Dromar. I have confidence in your ability.
Make some gurgling noises, and throw itself at Dromar. But much like before, when the last slime tried to do this, it sort of goes and falls in front of you, not hitting you. You don't even have to dodge it. It's a little sad and pathetic. If it weren't trying to kill you, you might feel sorry for it because it's just so sad. That brings
I
us
still feel a little sorry for it.
back to the top of Soria.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just move. Well, I'll stay where I am, and I'll do my Thorn Whip again.
All right, go ahead.
Although I kind of drag it into Ulseth the way I'm standing.
Well, Seth can take it.
Well, I might actually
Yeah.
just kill it. So, 1d4.
That hits. Go ahead and roll for damage.
That 2 piercing.
Okay.
And it's dragged, like, right up here, I guess.
And I think that doesn't technically leave
No.
a hitbox, so you don't get an
I'm
attack
not
of
in a good
opportunity.
position to drag
Yeah.
it past anyone.
Anything else you want to do on your turn? Nines, you're up.
No.
All right. Nines, it's your turn. Dromar, you're up next.
I am going to hit it with another vicious mockery, and Slime, you're just sad.
It fails, so go ahead and roll for damage.
Of course it does. It's just sad. And it's just 1 damage because my D4 suck.
It kind of gurgles a little bit.
I
Doesn't
could
really
shrug a little.
yeah, there's not a lot of reaction from it this time.
Does it feel sad?
It technically doesn't have any
Feels
sentience
as
to
sad
it.
as an ooze can feel.
As sad as something that can't feel sadness can feel, it feels that.
Melancholy.
It feels melancholy.
Melancholy?
Yes,
Melancholy.
All right.
It's
It's a movie thing.
It's from Megamind.
Oh.
If you've never seen
okay.
Megamind, that's
Nope.
not gonna land.
No.
I think at this point, like the under 7 wouldn't even have been born when Megamind.
And the over 70 wouldn't have watched it for anything.
So
We're missing our
solidly-
demographics.
So it was a.
Demographic.
Sorry.
Sorry,
total miss.
demographics.
Yeah.
Make a Casablanca reference quick.
It is now.
Got the block.
It's now Nine's turn, and Dromar, you're on deck.
Didn't mine just go?
I just,
Oh,
yeah, I
Nines, I'm
just
sorry.
went-
Reverse that. Dromar, it's your turn, and now Ulseth is
I'll
on.
take this. Apparently, Olsef thinks that Dromar is nice.
My bad.
He thinks Nines is Dromar. Well, I will move 5 feet so that I am now flanking it, and that will allow me to roll with advantage. And one of those is a nat 20, baby.
All right,
So,
go ahead
cheered
and roll
I.
critical damage, and you get sneak attack because you're flanking.
4d6.
46.
And it does 4 damage.
4d6. All right, let's see. That's 6, 9, 13,
It's hard to add those numbers up when they get them.
18, 23 altogether.
Okay. Any special way you wanted to dissipate this last slime? Because 23 definitely kills it.
I think that's the most damage Dromar's ever done in a single hit.
And you saved it for an already wounded, very sad slime.
Yes, I did. Dromar is furious at being called nines by Ulseth. So he's gonna like take his magical sword and sort of swat at this from the side to try to kill it, but to also try to splatter just a little bit of the ooze onto Ulseth.
That worked really well with mushrooms,
Just
so
like,
why not?
"Take that!" And swat it, and he's talking to the ooze, but he's also kind of talking to Ulseth as well.
You managed to do that. The slime is dissipated and a little bit lands on Ulseth. It smells bad, but does nothing more.
There
Thank you,
Oh, these
Dromar.
ones aren't acidic then. Interesting. Wait,
Or not enough. Landed on
These
our
ones are corrosive to certain materials, but not quite corrosive enough to damage skin.
that's good, I guess.
So Ulseth is a bit smellier than the rest of you now, but other than that, no ill effects. And that,
Fair enough.
that pulls us out
Dromar
of
is slightly
combat.
disappointed, but he will simply wipe the ooze off of his blade and sheath it and continue along his path.
All right,
Guidance again.
For the path.
Well,
he was in the middle of investigating things and looking
Oh,
for
yes.
stuff around this grate as well.
Right.
Go ahead and make another investigation check.
while he's doing that, can I just look
yeah,
across and
guidance.
see if that... Because you said it was mirrored, if there's another path opposite us?
Yeah, there is.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
There's a little
26.
pathway. You look very thoroughly through the piled up refuse here, but this time you find nothing of any value.
I find nothing of any value.
Oh, that is a shame.
It is a shame. It's just like looking at nines every single day. I see nothing of value.
Oh,
Wow. Cutting deep.
All we found was the friends we made along the way.
Which apparently no one made any
God,
friends.
one of those friends is Dromar? Oh, God. It's the worst adventure.
All right, after searching through the refuse, finding nothing, what would you all like to do next?
does Dromar stink from having searched through the refuse?
So,
I mean, at this point, you all smell like shit.
and
Like
oregano.
literal
Also,
shit. You're
I
in
will-
the sewers, and like the piled up refuse and nastiness and feces and rotting rats and stuff. You all smell terrible.
But I also smell
Yeah.
like oregano.
Also, Dromar
You
isn't
smell
like
oregano. You don't smell like oregano.
jumping into the refuse and like waiting around in it. We've already established he's like poking around with his sword.
You all smell terrible. No one particularly
I'm
more
not denying
terrible
that,
than
but-
anyone else at this point.
So, looking at what I've mapped out, we can either head back and go north a bit at the other, where we can't sort of, there's a northern path and an eastern path.
Well, which way do you think we should go, Soria?
We should go one of the ways we didn't go before.
Let us boldly go where no one has gone before.
Well, specifically where we haven't gone before.
Well, if we go east, we might loop it back around to that original crossroads we went to. And if we go north, I have no idea.
Well, let us go to
North
no
it
idea.
is. Yeah. Let's go north.
So you're heading back around this L-shaped room and following that northern path out from kind of the area you entered, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Make your way around and easily find this entrance. Going about 30 yards up this path, you come to a T-junction. Of course, to your south is the way that you came. The T-junction heads straight westward down Sluiceway and continues on north as well.
I will go west.
Okay, I'm guessing everyone's going down west then?
Yeah, go follow.
You go westward down the tunnel, and after about 100 yards, you come to a series of bars blocking your way further.
We have seen these before.
Way to choose,
we have.
Dromar.
What?
I said way to choose the right path, Dromar.
Hey, you know, whatever.
I'm just kidding.
I draw some arrows pointing back the way we came, and
All right.
there we go.
You should draw a sad Dromar on there too.
we-
for
I will
leading us to
draw
the bathroom.
I will draw a chagrined and sad Dromar.
Is it actually Dromar? Or is it actually not? Since we apparently don't know.
Let's go north then.
It looks like you.
Whoever you are.
You, who are you?
Yeah, but you have a hard time seeing. It is low light right now.
It is low.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, we'll go back and go the north route.
All right. About 90 yards up this way. Who's in the front?
Dromar.
Dromar.
I
Okay.
assume, because I've been in the front.
Yeah. Dromar. Let me pull that up here. I need you to make an acrobatics check.
I'm good at those. Not today, though. Let's see. That'll be a 14.
So,
5 plus 9.
as you're going across this particularly slippery patch of ground, you try to catch yourself, and you do one of those. I want to describe it as basically the ice skater who's lost their balance, and you're like, whoa, and
The little cartoon, like.
a little bit like that. And you try to catch yourself. You slip, and you have now sprained your ankle.
No,
My ankle is sprained. This is terrible.
You don't. You don't
no,
suffer
your
any,
strutting will be
significant
asymmetric.
damage from this. However, your movement is now slowed to 20 feet per round.
oh man.
So you
Even
move
with my
10 feet per
climbing
round
shoes, I
slower.
sucked. These climbing shoes were useless.
The rest of you now see this area and can make your way safely across it.
Dromer's gonna fashion himself a small splint to put around his ankle.
Do you want me to do that? I'm actually pretty good at it.
Sure, thank you, Soria.
I'll do that. I don't know if I need to roll for it or not, but
Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll for it since you have you can take your time here.
right.
You're not under any pressure. You managed to find a couple of firm pieces of wood just kind of on the sides here of the sluiceways and take some cloth and wrap it around. So it's roughly held in place and shouldn't get any worse unless you really try to push yourself physically. But you are now
I was gonna go
moving
run
10
a
feet
marathon.
around slower with a little bit of a sprained ankle right now.
Boo. Well, Dromer will keep leading the way, hobbling through the pain, because that's just the kind of goblin that he is.
All right.
And we all move 1/3 slower than we had before behind you.
Yep.
Making your way down this sluiceway tunnel. It goes about 300 yards north, and then it makes a bank to the right, turning back east now. And this tunnel continues on for quite a long ways, another almost 400 yards, and then starts to slowly bank back north for about 50 yards and then continues to bank around to make a westward path. So it kind of does this. A little bit of a serpentine here.
Have we seen any ladders or openings or anything along the way?
You haven't seen one
I was
thus
about
far.
to say that.
We have been forgetting to look for ladders.
You
I'm looking
haven't
for ladders.
seen one thus far.
I assume we'll catch it with our passive.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That's what I
like,
was saying.
unless they're hidden ladders.
Yeah.
Camouflage ladders.
Yeah, like you do.
Tactical ladder.
You guys have, interestingly enough, been making all the choices to avoid the ladders, which has been sort of
Nice.
fun.
We are awesome at guessing which way to go.
You really are pretty great at that. After they're making this sort of serpentine pathway, it starts to do another serpentine, and it's kind of mirroring itself. So it's gone, like this, and now it starts to go back up. And about halfway through that northern curve, going back east again, there's kind of a T-junction at this curve. So you could continue on this path that would take you around the bend and then going back eastward, or you can make a left and go westward.
Who designed this sewer?
Yeah, now that I'm here and we've been searching for all this time, I'm thinking we should have gone back to City Hall and gotten some sort of sewer plans or something. I agree, Nines. Who designed this place?
Well, why
This
don't
is
we keep
terrible.
going on the serpentine path and see what it leads to? Maybe there's like a reason.
Sure, yeah, let's do that. Some kind of crazy person designed these sewers. Let's go see what reason they had.
Yes.
You have no idea what could be causing these odd sort of patterns, maybe old buildings, perhaps the hundreds of feet tall massive trees have roots in those areas and they didn't want to disturb them.
Masochistic DMs.
DMs that
Maybe it was
just like hate
Thieves
their players.
Guild.
Yeah.
It could have been the Thieves Guild designing this.
Here's now Thieves Guild.
Not down here.
This sewer is so terrible.
All right.
If a Thieves Guild designed these sewers, they would be immaculate. They would be perfectly built, easy to get around, but lots of traps.
Thieves are famous for their architectural knowledge and city planning.
It's all nice marble and yeah.
And they have giant buttons that say push here to enter Thieves Guild. ID upon entrance.
All right, we'll
Two-brick
continue
minimum.
down the serpentine path.
Okay. The path continues back not quite 400 yards, you'd say probably about 350, and then banks north. Continuing to follow this path northward, after about 200 yards, you come to a T-junction. It continues northward, and then you can see at the edge of this, it starts to bank westward again. But to your right, on the eastern edge of this T-junction, you see a very interesting sight. And
I
it
see a very interesting
stops
sight.
smelling
Oh,
quite
Dromar,
as
what
bad.
is it?
For the first time in these sewers, you see light emanating from just ahead. It's dim.
There's a head that's emanating light.
Dim though this light is,
Is it like Dr. Manhattan's head or something? Or-
it is Dr. Manhattan's head, yes.
That explains the sewer layout.
Dim though it is, the light is distinct against the nearly pitch black surroundings, and the closer you get, the brighter the light is. And the typical sewer smell has now been infused and ever so mildly overcome by the smell of a pleasantly spiced curry. And you see in that room the beginnings of what you would expect to be the concrete tiles you've seen many times to make landing areas. They're actually moss covered. And there are tall grasses and reeds that have been attached to the walls.
This definitely sounds like Dr. Manhattan. Yep. Dromar will approach Dr. Manhattan's head.
Fudge Crunkle West. That's where we're at.
So this is going eastward, right?
This is going eastward.
Okay.
Yep. Are you entering this room, or are you continuing on the other way?
I'm gonna kind of peek in and see what I see, aside
Okay.
from Dr. Manhattan's head.
All right. Jeromar, as you get closer to this, you notice that there is a trap, and it's not particularly well hidden, and can easily be stepped over if you know where it is or notice it. And it seems to be focused kind of low to the ground, and it's these claws that would swing up and capture and like pin and pierce something that goes over this plate, almost like a
Mouse
very
trap.
sadistic mouse trap. It would go whoosh, but it's easy to overcome if you know where you're looking.
Like a sewer beaver trap.
I will not disarm the trap, but I will silently look back at the rest of the party, wave to get their attention, and then motion towards my eyes and point out the trap to them, and like
What do you
motion
think he's
for
trying
them.
to say?
Use my arm
I do
to
not
show
know, but
them
he is
to
greeting
go
us.
over the trap.
I think you can get that across to them fairly easily.
I would hope
But
so.
whether they take that to heart, I can't.
I feel like my passive insight's 17. I think I'll probably get that.
I mean, yeah, it's fairly easy to understand. Like I said, whether you all take it to heart is another question I can't determine.
He wants you
I'm
to
going-
touch it, Nines. He wants you to touch the trap.
I'm going to then walk over the trap and continue around the inside of
Do
it.
you want us
looking
to
ahead of
follow
me.
you, or?
Have
Yeah,
you gone?
okay,
Have
okay.
you done this?
yeah. Well, I motioned for you to come over the trap, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll motion for you to
Alright,
follow me.
then we will
Fine, I'll
follow.
believe him this time.
Okay.
I have no trouble stepping over a trap that Dromar could step over.
You all make it over the trap, self-competition aside. And as you pass over the boundary of the sewer tunnels into this larger room, the usually dreary and slime-coated surfaces have been covered in various decorations. The usually smooth concrete surfaces beneath your feet are covered in a very soft-looking, and Nines, since you are barefooted, that you can tell they are indeed quite soft, these mosses. Leaving only the
I
sluices.
wiggle my toes. Yeah.
It's really quite refreshing after wading through this sewer water. And this leaves only the sluices in this area, showing any exposed material. The walls themselves are covered in long grasses, reeds, and other branches, making it seem as though you were walking through a very tall field of hay or wheat. In the far corner of the room, which would be the northeastern corner, you see a ladder, and you also see a hut with a low roof and a bit of smoke coming from a simple chimney made from what appears to be mud. The windows of the hut are covered and closed with drapes on the inside of them.
Does that seem to be where the curry smell is coming from, I assume?
It's a little hard to tell in an area that doesn't have a whole lot of moving air because it's just sort of permeating everything, but it's a pretty good guess.
So this is like a square room.
It's a little bit of a longer rectangle on one side. It's slightly more shallow on its eastern side as far as that kind of concrete surface than it is on its western side. And there's a sluice that runs from north to south in the room. And it's a T-junction meeting the pathway that you came in on.
And you said this room is well lit?
Yeah, there's actually little torch sconces, and then some of those enchanted little glowing orbs that you have seen from the streetlights above in the city. They're actually hovering around the ceilings down here. It's a really kind of peaceful looking place. If it wasn't for the horrible smell, you might actually think this is a nice place to stay.
I'm going to... Go ahead, sorry.
I was just
What were
saying,
you
do
gonna
we
say?
see anyone immediately in here, or is it just maybe in the hut?
You don't see anybody immediately,
Okay.
but the hut, though, it has a couple little windows on the front side of it facing you guys, and they are covered over with drapes, and there's a crude door on the front.
Well, Dromar does his thing. I'm just going to be looking at the plant life and seeing how it...
Yeah, Dromar would very subtly walk up to that and say, "Hi!"
No, that's not going to be what Dromar does. Dromar is a very smart goblin. So Dromar is going to douse his lantern, and he's going to silently motion. He's going to put his finger to his mouth to motion for the rest of the party to stay silent, and then he's going to put his palm out and like gesture toward the ground for like the party to stay where they are. And then Dromar is going to stealthily, he's going to try to hide and make his way around like the outside of the chamber towards the house.
Okay.
Stealthily.
Yes, like good guys, we're going to do a home invasion.
We don't know who this person is. I'm not
don't know who we are either.
Yet. I'm just gonna look in right now.
So we're just gonna creep
Just be a
invasion. Okay.
Creepy peeping Tom Dromar.
Look,
I really hope no one's showering in there.
this is getting way more creepy than Dromar has ever intended.
All right. Go ahead and make a stealth check. Let's see how you do.
A creepy check.
Get out of here. Dromar gets a 22.
Okay. The soft mosses that cover these concrete areas make it pretty easy to move almost silently across it. And you are able to approach the house without, giving off any loud noises or other things that you think might give you away. You have every reason to believe that you've been able to get close without alerting suspicion. Now, while you're doing that, Soria, you had wanted to investigate some of the...
Just the plant life that's immediately around me, see if it's, like, why it's growing here.
The mosses, they seem to have just kind of made their home on this concrete surface. There's some dirt underneath them a little bit, and you get the sense that they were probably seeded here, since you hadn't seen it through the rest of these sewerways. The reeds and things that are on the wall, they're actually just attached there.
Okay, they're not growing.
They're not growing, although it's meant to look that way, if apparently only for cosmetic appearance. Ulseth and Nines, is there anything that you two want to be doing?
How long have we been adventuring?
In the sewer?
You've been in here for several hours now.
I'm gonna go knock on the door. I want curry.
Okay.
I had a pretzel.
Yeah, that's all.
Since we started.
All right.
That's all checks out.
It says Dromar is the stupid one. Dromar's going to try to intercept Nines.
You're looking at a window.
Not yet. I was working my way slowly around.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is that Dromar, you've been focusing on not alerting this, and you're kind of moving around towards like the backside of the hut, checking it out. Whereas Nines was just like, he paused for a moment, sniffed the air, and went,
and then
that
just
smells
walked right
better, and then just walked right up. And you didn't see this because you were looking the opposite direction as you were doing this. Ulseth, is there anything
sense.
you want to be doing right now?
Actually, yes. Ulseth will walk over to the ladder and look for a number.
Which is right next to the hut, right?
Yeah, and actually, where you are going, Dromar, you and Ulseth are kind of going in the same direction. You're trying to kind of get to the same space. Because behind the hut is kind of along the wall, and that's your goal. So you two are heading in the same direction.
But I'm doing it as sneakily as I can because I was told to do that by
Okay.
Dromar.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Then Ulseth, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Communicates well, where I tell you all to be quiet and stay there, and then I go to do my thing, and then you're like,
It's a weird hut in the sewer. What's the worst that could happen?
Welcome to being a rogue. Go ahead and roll a stealth check, if you wouldn't mind.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I
you
stayed
can
where I
roll a
was.
stealth check.
I can.
You can. Whether you're successful is up for debate.
That would be. These numbers are hard to read. That's 10, right? Mm-hmm. So 12.
The soft mosses beneath your feet make it very easy to move quite quietly over the top of them. When you
I
get to the
didn't say that. That would
sluiceway,
give away my stealthiness.
you splash through the sluiceway a bit, so and make some noise doing that. Other than that, you're fairly quiet in your movements across this way. The two of you, Ulseth and Dromar, you do see that the northern end of these sluiceways that would lead out of this room, that is barred off, basically right at the start of this room. So there's, your path would be impeded going further north. The number that you see on this ladder is 02-8467.
Not at all the right number.
Not even close.
9s. You go and you
Knocking.
knock on the door. Do you want to say anything, or do you just want to knock?
I'm just gonna knock. It's polite.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Nines' MO.
Then, not to the door, but to one of the windows that is on either side of the crude front door. And the hut is only about 5 feet high. It's a low hut. So to get in there, you have to kind of stoop down. Picture a little, in your mind here, you can kind of picture it's almost like Yoda's hut from Empire Strikes Back. It's small, and who's ever in this hut is also fairly small. From the window, one of the drapes moves back a bit, and you see this frog person.
So
Now,
Yoda.
which you would recognize as a bullywug. Kind of poking one of their eyes out and like checking you out. And seems to appraise you as not a threat. Knocked on the door,
Accurate.
but cracks open the door and looks out at you and goes, "Yes?"
Well, so I was hungry. I'm wondering if you had any extra food.
I suppose I could spare some curry.
That's great. I
I'm
appreciate that.
surprised to see someone else down here.
Yeah, you guys got terrible slime problem down here.
Yes, I find them very interesting.
Am I within visual?
Yeah, you can see, you
awesome.
can see what's going on, and the other
Okay.
two of you, Ulseth and Dromar, you're out of line of sight from this. You can hear the exchange, though.
I'll just wave, I guess.
Dromar's
This
gonna
bullywug just kind of looks a little like
I'm down looking at the moss.
blinks its eyes and waves back, confused, but doesn't.
Dromar's gonna stop sneaking at this point. walk over to where Nines and the bullywug are.
I like your moss.
Thank you.
Can I ID this moss? Do I know what it is?
I mean, it's just a pretty typical.
Is it over 21? Is that what you're doing? You're trying to ID
Yeah, I
it?
don't want it
This
to.
must buy alcohol.
If I
It's a
pour
pretty
booze
typical
on it,
forest
would
moss.
it be a
You've seen this. It's from. You've seen this kind of moss growing within the Fervent Wilds, and you've seen some of it around here in your adventures around Nordfeld. It's just from the region.
I don't have like a name for it though.
Also
I
follows
will-
Dromar around the hut, trying to look as non-threatening as possible.
Yeah,
being at a-
Dromar
at
will
a
walk
res-
up.
At a respectful distance.
Okay.
Yeah, Dromar's gonna kind of make like a wide arc, so he's not like coming, because we were kind of alongside the hut, right?
Yes.
So I'm trying not to like just come up right on the edge of the hut. I'm trying to like come around so that I'm very clearly visible before I'm like right there.
Okay.
So as not to spook the bullywug. And as I come around, I'm gonna say, "Hello,
Hello.
We're with him. Sort of.
I don't like associating myself with him. You don't need to give him anything.
I should
No,
have
you
put
don't
on
need to
more
give me
curry.
What was that?
I should have put on more curry.
Oh, Nines probably doesn't need to eat all that much since he did eat like 3 or 4 good berries.
Yeah, that's true. Nines actually shouldn't even be hungry.
I'm always hungry.
Always hungry. Where there is food, there is nines. Where there is...
Everywhere there's food, there's a little
Dude.
nines.
Do I get any sense of like, is this like just someone who's just like a weird plant thing, or is there like any sign of druidic magic down here?
From the exterior,
Yeah.
you really can't see the interior. Nines can see a little bit more, but not very much. You know, she's kind of just looking through the door a little bit. You don't see any clear signs of druidic magic
Okay.
out here. But clearly someone who is fixing up the place that they are residing is what you can surmise from
Okay.
exterior view. The longer you sit down here, the more delicious that curry does smell, however.
So Nines.
I'm
you
just
go
going
in.
to sit down then, since I don't think I'm going to fit in her house. I don't think all of us are going to fit in her house either.
You're certainly not all going to fit in her house, and she didn't create this hut to really suit anybody larger than herself, since who comes to visit?
It's just
You're telling me the sewer hobbit doesn't just have a big mansion in the sewer?
for shape
Not this
shifting
particular
reasons,
one.
is she considered a small creature or a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
She's considered a small creature.
Okay.
You could
Dromar
probably
likes her
create
already.
a medium-sized facsimile, having now seen a bullywug,
I
to
was just
answer your
curious.
question.
Yep, yep.
But you could not take on her exact appearance because it would be a shape size
Change.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, my name's Dromar. What's your name?
My name is Muriel Hapalong.
Oh, well, nice to meet you. Have you
I'm
always lived down here?
surprised to meet you. What did you
Yes.
say?
I asked if she had always lived down here.
No. I moved in several months ago.
Oh, what brings you here?
Well, you gather that's her laugh. I am a druid, and
Hey, we have one of those.
I like to study the ends of life cycles and the beginnings of others.
Oh, just like
you-
us.
Yeah, yeah. Are you part of the Agmar Nodal?
Yes.
Roll initiative. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes, I am part of the Agmar Nodal.
Oh, I met some of your people before.
What was the name of the leader of the Agmar Nodal that I got along really well with?
It definitely wasn't the leader of the Agmar Nodal. It was.
of that group of.
It's just some random.
Dorman.
It wasn't
It was
even
the
the leader of
random,
that.
the random tree door
Oh, okay.
man.
Dromar, you wouldn't know this because you've, been unlike the two characters from the Fervent Wilds, which are much more separated from larger society and the larger collections of the globalized world. You would know that the Agmar Nodal are the prime group of druids that occupy basically everywhere on this plane. So, practicing druids are almost always part of the Agmar Nodal. They have stations set up in every city. Their hierarchy is, very stratified, and who you met, you would know is just like the particular agent who came out of the
Gotcha,
tree.
gotcha.
So, incidentally,
what
I
was
don't
their
remember
name?
that name at the moment, but I could go look it up if you need it.
You could make one up. It was pre-stream, so.
Sure. His name was Peter.
Okay.
I met Peter, who apparently has no last name.
Yes, the only Peter Druid in all of Druidity.
Yeah.
He was a rabbit folk.
Yeah. Do
That's-
you know him?
Pumpkins.
Perhaps. There are many thousands of Agmar Nodal druids.
Well, like you, he opened doors and greeted people.
Okay.
You weren't even present when we met him.
No, you were not.
You don't know this. I don't know this.
Yeah, it was just me and Soria.
I'm not the most well-connected member of the Druidic Order. Like my solitude and studying, like I said, the end of life cycles and the beginnings of the others.
That makes sense.
I
Well,
call myself a shit druid.
That's a good joke. I like it. I call him Shit Rogue.
thanks a lot, Nines.
You're welcome. See, he loves my jokes.
Muriel,
Yes.
Go ahead, Soria.
why do you all hate Fey magic so much?
Never mind. Don't go ahead, Soria.
Many Agmar Nodal disapprove of Fey magic because it is dangerous. But I find it more interesting.
Oh, so you're a good Fey Agmar Nodal.
I suppose. Would you all
Soria
like some
uses
curry?
fey magic.
I'm on the fence still.
I know that the Tabaxi would. Well, what is your name, Tabaxi?
I'm Nines, greatest musician of all time in training.
What an honor to meet you. One moment. She opens her door fully now, and kind of waves her hand about, and the room gets a little brighter. She seems to be controlling the ambient light in the room, and she hobbles back into her, or really hops back a little bit into the rear of her hut, and gets a bowl, the largest bowl that she has, and then hops back out with a spoon in hand and gives it to Nines.
This is the best adventure you've ever gone on.
So you have a bowl of curry.
I start eating it.
Okay.
From a respectful
great.
distance, I wave and say, "Hello, you who live in the hut.
Yes.
I understand your name is Muriel.
Yes.
I am Ulthith Ralph, and I do appreciate the offer of your curry. However, as you can see by my size, I would consume much too much. So I will thank you, but eat my own rations.
How thoughtful of you.
I do try to understand the understanding of those around me. How is it that you have decided to live down here?
Oh, most people think that I'm a bit odd for it, but there's many interesting forms of life down here. I'm sure you've encountered some of the blobs that form.
Yes,
Yes.
we have come up very close to some of them.
Oh, they are quite tenacious, but they are almost unique to this area of the world. And
How do
there
they
are-
form?
That's what I want to find out. There's so many forms of life, and small bits of algae and other growths unique to environments like this. I find them fascinating and want to study so that we can learn more about them and how they all work together. They are at the bottom of the food cycle and feed upwards to so many more. So I want to learn about what supports all of us.
Are there any other large creatures we should be aware of, like sewer beavers or...
I've never met a beaver down here. There are very large rats, though.
Any other creatures that we should be aware of?
I believe there are some spiders.
Oh, well, those are pretty small.
Are they large spiders or regular size?
Very large.
So we should worry about them, yeah. All right, awesome, cool.
I would ask a question about the blobs. We found them to be very aggressive. How do you keep them away from your hut?
Despite my enticing, they seem to avoid this particular section.
You tried to entice them here?
I wanted to study them,
Right.
yes.
I do believe that Dromar has the ability to attract them.
Do I?
You've run into them every time.
Most living things seem to, but they seem reluctant to leave their breeding grounds. They breed in the collection of trash and muck.
That explains why they always show up on Dromar.
You
Yeah, it
all,
couldn't possibly be because I'm always in the lead.
you all are rather weary. Would you like to take a rest here for a while?
Do I feel... Okay, I've already been suspicious of an any Agmar, no doubt. Mm-hmm. Does she seem trustworthy in this offer to me?
Why don't you make an insight check?
With guidance, using my
Yeah.
Professor X powers. Oh no, natural 1. But with a natural 1, that is... And my guidance, a 12.
You see, you don't get any hint of any deception or ruse or anything else. You only sense that she genuinely is offering you a respite from the dangerous adventures in these sewers and some food.
Okay, she seems trustworthy.
Does
I would hope so. I'm already eating the chili.
Nines, do you have any hit points that you've lost? Are you damaged at all still?
Yeah, I was missing 2 hit points.
Go ahead and recover 2 hit points then.
Whoa, it's magic curry.
All curry magic.
I agree with that.
That's true.
The curry is making you feel really very good, and it's restored your health to, and you kind of feel some of those burns healing away a bit.
Can Dromar make an insight check as well?
You can, yeah.
Holy, Dromar also got a nat 1.
Sure.
We're great at insight checking this person.
This sewer witch is definitely trustworthy.
That's only a 4 for me, though.
All right. You too do not sense any sort of deception in her offer of rest.
Noticing the discomfort that Dromar has felt in his insight check, I'll make one as well.
I don't know if he...
That's very metagaming.
I
He
think
seems very confident, I assume, with that now.
confident.
no one is getting any sense that she's being deceptive, and you can even
Noticing the discomfort in his insight check. What a bunch of malarkey.
But just to do it, Ulseth did anyway and got a nat 20 plus 1, 21.
I mean, she hasn't lied to you guys at all, so. But no one gets any sense that she is trying to deceive or manipulate or otherwise injure you. It seems that she's offering a nicer than the rest of it, place to rest and recover for a little while here.
It might be reasonable to rest at some point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'd love to take you up on your offer if you don't mind, and I would love a bowl of that curry if you don't mind as well. It smells delicious.
I suppose I would.
It's delicious.
Well, let me put on another pot and bring you some food. She
Thank
goes
you
and
so
fixes
much.
up another bowl. this one is smaller than Nine's because she used her largest serving bowl for Nine's.
She also likes me the most.
And starts swaps the pot over the cooking fire out and starts making another preparation of all this curry.
Once her back is turned, I take out my short sword. No, I don't really do that.
Your short sword of trust.
Trust.
Sorry, I just learned how to make this.
What was that?
And you sit down. You all sit down and take I'm guessing a short rest. Since I don't think you want to be sitting here for 8 hours, correct?
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
So
and
you-
we have no idea what time it is, so because we've been in the sewers.
You've been in the sewers for quite a while now, so you've sort of lost a sense of what time of day it is.
I would like to assess this cooking because I am trained in cooking.
She ran out of curry when Dromar asked for it, and she's making a new pot for you.
Okay.
So, you sit down and take a short rest while she prepares some food, and you all have time to recover and take a little breather and give your olfactory a little bit of a break here in this nice area. And on that, we will end this week's episode.
I have so many questions though.
And we will come back next week with all of your questions for the shit druid Muriel and her adventures, and trying to understand this end of the life cycle.
Possibly more poop jokes.
Quite possibly more poop jokes. I mean, you're still in the sewers, you haven't left them, and you've managed
Plenty
to
of poop to be
avoid.
had.
You've managed to avoid quite a bit of the ladders that you could find. So,
Very good at that.
We found one. We found
It was
one
the
ladder.
wrong number.
thank you everyone for joining us this week. We will be back next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I love you all. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.